Right, finally back. We get our Final Fantasy dungeons done, watch some news. Alright. Get our Final Fantasy on and get watching stuff. Okay. Get filled
Talk
in.
about how you have this mom who's blaming vaccines for what happened to her twin toddlers, but now she's being charged with murder as a group co-founded by RFK Jr. is still supporting her. Also, this Donald Trump, Todd Blanche, Jay Clayton situation's insane, and why it's gonna get worse Thursday night. You've got a massive Canadian wildfire crisis that's turning into an air quality nightmare here in the States. And
Not
you have Democrats
Canada.
derailing a must-pass defense bill around an unprecedented military partnership between the US and Israel. We're talking about all of that and even more on today's brand new Philip DeFranco's show. You daily dive into the news, starting with this. We need to talk about the situation around a woman that you've never heard of by the name of Andrea Shaw. She's a now 23-year-old mother in Idaho, and on May 1st, 2025, she said that she found her 18-month-old twins, Dallas, face down and dead in their shared bed. And then, just a few days later, Shaw and her husband sat down with an interview with the Children's Health Defense, that controversial anti-vaccine nonprofit co-founded by RFK Jr. And during that interview, Shaw said that the vaccines had killed her babies. Because about a week before their deaths, the twins had been given several standard childhood vaccines, including hepatitis A, flu, tetanus, and a few more. And she claimed that during that appointment, she had raised questions with her pediatrician about the flu vaccine, in particular because members of her husband's family, they had reactions to it in the past. So Shaw, she says that the doctors convinced her that the twins, they should still get the shot, and then 2 days later, she took them to the hospital after they started experiencing diarrhea and lethargy. And according to the hospital records, one of the kids did have a temperature of 99 degrees, but the doctor said that they were having a simple post-immunization reaction, which was treated with Tylenol and ice pops. And it was then a few days after that visit that Shaw found her twins dead, and when asked about her stance on vaccines during the interview with Children's Health Defense, she said, "I feel that I wish I was anti-vaccine now." So unsurprisingly, this organization embraced Shaw with arms wide open. They heavily pushed that interview, setting up a Give, Send, Go fundraiser that brought in more than $11,000, and they named her as the lead plaintiff in a lawsuit against the American Academy of Pediatrics, which is the top society of pediatricians in the country. And you have that lawsuit specifically accusing the AAP of racketeering. They allege that they falsely claimed that the vaccines were safe and that the deaths of Dallas and Tyson proved that they were wrong. But then, fast forward to last month, over a year after the twins' death, and Andrea Shaw was arrested for murdering her own children. And this happened literally just 5 days after giving birth to a new baby. And what you saw specifically is that the grand jury indictment claims that Shaw suffocated her babies in an act that was either premeditated or
and blamed it on the vaccines.
Shaw, she still claims that it was actually the vaccines that killed her kids, and Children's Health Defense, they've stood by her. Right, that first interview they did just days after the twins died, Shaw literally said that the police believed her children were suffocated and, quote, that I had supposedly had a postpartum overwhelming blackout and done it to my children. But you had Children's Health Defense repeatedly dismissing both
couldn't have been
investigation into Shaw and the charges that are now levied against her. And you've got the group's chief executive saying that they will continue to back her claims following the arrest, and adding, "They're messing with the wrong people, and we stand for the truth, and the truth is that vaccines can cause death, and there's zero evidence so far that this woman killed her children. Zero." As far as the actual case here, you have Shaw's lawyers telling multiple media outlets that they plan to argue that it was actually the vaccines that caused the suffocation. But then with that, you have experts saying that's not a thing, with one doctor and vaccine expert at Baylor College of Medicine explaining, "I'm not aware of any vaccine."
What do they know? They just dedicated their entire life to this stuff.
You'd expect to see other cases appearing in the community. And you also had them adding, in this specific case, it is even more unlikely because both kids died at the same time, right? And it happened a week after they received the vaccination. And then beyond that, Shaw's lawyer failed to provide any evidence to support his claim when asked by reporters. Actually, during a court hearing yesterday, you had the judge overseeing the case noting that the defense has not identified any experts to testify on their behalf. And also during that same hearing, the judge revoked Shaw's bond. Right, initially, the bond had been set at $2 million, but Shaw's lawyer asked the judge to drop it to $100,000, arguing that she needed to be at home to breastfeed her new baby and wasn't a public safety threat. But state prosecutors, they hit back, arguing that her bond should actually be revoked entirely because this is a case where the death penalty, it's possible, right? And also because Shaw, she could pose a risk to her newborn baby.
That child is the most at-risk individual as a result of this case. as a
Ooh,
result of
okay.
the defendant's actions and behavior. And that is the single highest risk factor that the state is looking to protect. We do not think she should be allowed to be anywhere near any children, let alone her own children, to take care of.
And ultimately what you saw was the judge agreeing, ruling that the prosecution had strong evidence and that Shaw should remain in jail as the case plays out. So we're gonna have to wait to see how all this develops, especially because you had
Okay.
Shaw's lawyer declining to enter a plea during yesterday's proceedings, claiming that he needed more time to review the prosecution's discovery. Right, but then also today, we should talk about a very different kind of threat on a much larger scale. And that's that you have tens of millions of people in the path of just crazy smoke from these wildfires in Canada and Minnesota. Because if you didn't know, there are hundreds of fires raging across Ontario and northern Minnesota, with dozens still out of control. Thousands of people have been evacuated, with several more towns on standby, and one entire community has been wiped out. You've got
Ooh.
roads shut down, national parks like Boundary Waters getting closed to visitors. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, he declared a peacetime emergency and mobilized the Minnesota National Guard to respond because the flames are moving so fast. And you can even see how crazy it is. There's this viral video now of a freight train in Canada being overtaken by the flames.
This could potentially overtake us here. This is getting a little scary.
Fuck.
Holy shit.
Okay, yeah, this is.
Okay, y'all need to hurry up here. Like, seriously, we're encased in flames now.
Right, well, understandably, everyone's talking about the fire, the heat and the smoke. I mean, those are also incredibly dangerous. That's why you've got Environment Canada meteorologists warning about it, especially because the smoke, it can cause shortness of breath, coughing, dizziness, or fatigue. That's before even mentioning aggravating heart and lung diseases and other chronic health issues. I mean, you had one study earlier this year finding that the chronic exposure to pollution from wildfires, it's been linked to tens of thousands of deaths annually in the United States. And so while you have experts, warning for people to stay inside, keep the windows closed, my cynical ass is like, yes, you should do that, but also for as far as the government's involvement, it feels like policy by shrug, especially for some, because like in much of southwestern Ontario, they have a heat advisory right now. If you're someone that doesn't have AC, you open windows to stay cool. But again, this is not just a Canada problem. These fires are once again sending plumes of smoke hundreds of miles away over the Midwest, the Great Lakes region, and towards the Northeast US. And so starting in Minnesota, you got the Twin Cities, along with Alexandria and two harbors getting hit with an air quality alert set to last all the way through Friday. And it's at hazardous levels, which means that it's unsafe for everybody, not just a few people. You then also have the entire state of Michigan under the air quality alert, and the smoke, it just keeps moving east. Right? You get the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration warning about the air quality in New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Pennsylvania. I mean, it's impacting tens of millions of people through the end of the week. Right? And if you're getting this sense of deja vu, yeah, you might remember that Canada had some extreme wildfires back in 23 that resulted in the sky of New York City turning orange as the smoke moved over the US. The air quality reached the most hazardous levels on record. But this time around, if you want to call it a silver lining, you've got the New York City Emergency Management releasing a statement saying they aren't expecting a repeat of 2023. Though they did still note that New Yorkers, especially those with heart and lung conditions, should be careful. Right, and actually, thanks to the wildfires in Canada starting later this year, being more contained overall, and the smoke largely staying
I think
higher
we
up
got
in
them
the
both.
atmosphere, we're likely not going to see a repeat of 2023. Though also, in 2026, I would not hold your breath on that, or maybe do with this specific situation. But from there, we should talk about a very different story where Elon Musk could potentially face charges for bribing voters in Wisconsin. Right, because you have the state's bipartisan election commission referring two cases to the Brown County District Attorney's Office after finding probable cause that Musk broke the law when he gave $1 million checks to voters last year. Right, I know it feels, again, like a million years ago, but it was just last year. There was that major Supreme Court election in Wisconsin. It ended up being the most expensive judicial race in American history, with over $100 million spent total from both sides. And $20 million of that alone came from Elon Musk. And you had him backing conservative Brad Schimmel, who ended up losing to the liberal candidate. And what specifically gets Musk in hot water is a now deleted tweet from March of 2025, where he wrote, "On Sunday night, I will give a talk in Wisconsin. Entrance is limited to those who have voted in the Supreme Court election. I will also personally hand over 2 checks for $1 million each in appreciation for you taking the time to vote. This is super important." Well, he ended up taking that post down. If you look for it, there's actually a tweet that further explains the promise that's still online, with it saying, to clarify a previous post, entrance is limited to those who have signed the petition in opposition to activist judges. I will also hand over checks for $1 million to 2 people to be spokesmen for the petition. And reports say that in the end, 3 voters actually received $1 million, with some even getting massive checks on stage during a rally. You even had his America PAC offering $100 to others who signed this anti-activist judge petition. It was all this very similar move to the playbook that he ran during the 2024 presidential election, which was, again, incredibly controversial and faced tons of legal challenges. And actually, in the Wisconsin case, in addition to all the flack that he got, it included 2 complaints from voters in Green Bay and Milwaukee. We've now just learned that the state's election commission voted 5-1 to send those complaints to the DA, who now has 40 days to decide whether or not he'll move forward with prosecution. Now, that said, the DA
how did he turn my card with 4?
Many don't know where this is going to go, but I will say this does come at a crucial time for elections. And actually, staying focused on Elon Musk for a minute, after the whole Wisconsin thing, where he just threw millions of dollars at this candidate that lost, he actually vowed to cut back on his election spending. But like with a lot of things Elon Musk said, that hasn't really happened. Just today, we learned that he is giving $5 million to back Vivek Ramaswamy's effort to become governor of Ohio. And actually, according to the New York Times, he's now given
What the
$90
fuck?
million this election cycle. And while Elon Musk, he is a
The
particularly
lower
bad
numbers
actor,
flip
if you
higher
look at the
numbers.
state of America right now, and I'm not just being cynical, I mean, it's just the state of affairs right now. If you don't see that we've, at least to some degree, turned into an oligarchy, I don't know what would convince you. There was this recent analysis, you can find this for yourself, that found that 300 billionaires and their immediate family members, they donated over $3 billion in federal elections in 2024, which is nearly 20% of all contributions. Like, just to put that into perspective for how like normal people donate, it would take 100,000 typical political donors to equal the average donation of a single billionaire family, which was $10 million. And I know that things have felt broken for a long time, but this specifically, this is pretty new. 5 presidential elections ago, billionaire spending was basically non-existent. It was under 1%. And the money, it is enough to actually change the course of elections. That's why you've got people like John Tester, who held a Senate seat for 3 terms until recently losing to a billionaire-backed candidate, saying it's a form of prostitution, quite frankly. It's one of the worst parts of the job. And then also, like, if billionaires buying candidates wasn't concerning enough, right now, there's a lot of concern about federal intervention and voter intimidation under the Trump administration. And something that we're gonna have to keep our eyes on is that Trump might be ramping those efforts up this week, because he's delivering a major primetime address on Thursday where he's expected to touch on multiple issues, and one of them is elections. And actually, set an alarm or reminder for 8:30 p.m. Thursday night Eastern time. We're gonna be live streaming it on the channel, reacting, breaking things down, just
alright.
getting through it all together with you. I might actually also have my wife Lindsay join me. She's running for a state house seat this year. Very likely what Trump's going to be talking about is Georgia. And that's because you have reports saying that he might revisit conspiracy theories about 2020, and NPR adding, Trump has used the power of the primetime presidential address, typically reserved for milestones, to deliver politically charged speeches before. But adding Thursday's address seems poised to go even further, using the moment to amplify
Dude, that's some
election lies
fuck.
for an audience of millions in an effort to boost Republican prospects before midterms that threaten to hobble Trump for the remainder of his term. As far as what he might say, you have an administration official telling Reuters that Trump plans to address newly declassified intelligence on investigations into U.S. elections and voting machine vulnerabilities, something that's widely seen as laying the groundwork for him to challenge Republican losses in Congress. And you also have the reports saying that he's going to focus on Georgia's 2020 Senate race specifically. And even though you had a Trump advisor also pushing back on that Georgia claim specifically, there's already a ton of backlash to this speech, even prior to it being delivered. And so you've got the likes of Senator John Ossoff saying, Donald Trump's spiral continues. The failed president pocketing billions as he drives up prices is afraid to lose the
time to go.
midterms. So he will reheat debunked election conspiracy theories and tell bizarre new lies to deny his 2020 defeat and attack voting rights. But also, the unfortunate thing is that we live in a country where Trump's lies, they're just facts to people. At least some people. Polling, just a month ago, it found that 50% of Republicans still believe that the 2020 election was rigged. And now 72% of them believe his more recent unsupported claims of fraud in California's primaries. And on top of that, in recent days, he's fired members of the Bipartisan Election Assistance Commission. He has federal agencies threatening to withhold funds if states do not change how they conduct elections. And the list just goes on and on. So, be prepped for it. Because honestly, whether it's Trump or a literal rat being pushed into a corner, you don't know what's going to happen next. But whatever it is, it will very likely be messy. But then, diving right back into the news, we've got to talk about this Todd Blanche situation, because you had Trump's nominee for Attorney General at his confirmation hearing today, and it was something special.
How long do you intend to put up with that Kash Patel character? Are you good with his airplane jaunts? Are you confident he's not drinking on the job? Are you sure none of his travel is a pretext for vacation activities like snorkeling, Olympics, and visiting girlfriends? Are you sure he knows what he's doing? Do you vouch for him? Are you willing to look at whether he lied to this committee?
That's an extraordinarily obnoxious question.
Right, and Blanche, actually, he's been acting Attorney General since Pam Bondi got the boot back in April, which honestly, for some reason, feels like 3 years ago. But actually, the day before this hearing, the New York Times publishing just this trove of Justice Department
apt
some
question
insight into Blanche's role at the DOJ. And you had it showing that he actually wrestled control over the so-called weaponization working group away from its former head, Ed Martin. Right, and that's the task force that, among other things, investigated the prosecutions of Jan 6 rioters and Biden's use of an auto pen. And also, reportedly, Blanche's deputies were responsible for probing stuff like an FBI memo that targeted a conservative Catholic group in Richmond, prosecutions of anti-abortion activists, and federal scrutiny of conservative school board members. Actually, one really interesting one is that one team, led by one of Blanche's aides, reportedly focused on a single person, Tina Peters. That's a Colorado elections official that was convicted, imprisoned, and later released for election-related crimes. So basically, you had Blanche's office appearing to be directly involved in many of the most high-profile efforts to rectify Trump's personal and political grievances. So when you had this hearing start today, one of the biggest issues was about the DOJ's independence from White House pressure. And actually, when he was asked whether he considers Donald Trump his friend, Blanche let out this awkward little Freudian slip.
I'm his lawyer. Was his lawyer.
Right, and that's just one of the many reasons a lot of people have an issue with him. But also, even his intentional comments didn't give more reason for confidence.
Is the Department of
Freudian
Justice
penis,
that you are running
slip.
independent from the White House?
The Department of Justice, like every single department in the executive, is part of the executive. Article 2 of the Constitution gives the power of the executive to President Trump. So we certainly operate
no.
with integrity. We certainly operate in the single mindset to serve the American people and do the right thing. But I am a member, if confirmed, I will be a member of the cabinet.
And then also, when Blanche was given specific questions about what he would do for the president, he still gave these very dodgy, ambiguous answers.
Will you commit to following clear federal law and not deploying federal agents to polling locations?
I will commit to following the law, Senator, of course.
Does that include not deploying federal agents to polling places?
I will absolutely follow the law no matter what it includes. So yes.
Also, another point of contention that you had was the infamous anti-weaponization fund, which stemmed from Trump suing his own IRS for failing to protect his tax returns from getting leaked years ago, with the agency then settling. It was this very weird and what many considered corrupt I'm suing myself situation. And as part of that settlement, Trump, his family, and his businesses, they're shielded from any IRS audits or past tax returns. And then on top of that, you had the DOJ creating a $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund that critics really just called a slush fund for Trump's allies. And those allies included Jan 6 defendants. So you then also had a judge the other day ruling that both sides of the IRS case colluded to get this outcome, sanctioning Trump's lawyers and suggesting that Blanche should be disciplined as well. And for his part, Blanche in this hearing, he said, hey, that fund is dead, it's done, it's not moving forward. Basically, just forget about it. But then when Senator John Cornyn, he pointed out that
Forget about
the
the
settlement's
fraud
still
that
on
we
the table,
did.
regardless of whether the DOJ is acting on it right now, he seemed to admit that it could come back to life.
Is the settlement agreement enforceable as a contract by the parties?
Well, yes, it's an enforceable document. So I suppose if President Trump's counsel sought to enforce it, they potentially could. They could potentially say that, I suppose, that we breached by not moving forward. They haven't done that, and I'm not aware that they're planning on doing that. But even if we were litigating it, there's no fund. So the results of such litigation, whatever it would be, wouldn't be a revival of
did the
fund.
fraud,
Also a big thing with that
but
is that fund connects to a
didn't
larger
go
question
through.
about Blanche's attitude toward January 6th. Because you have this guy,
You know how
keeps
attempted
insisting, hey, the rule of law
murders
is the
get
most
off
important
all the
thing, but then you had
time.
Democrats hitting back with the
And
obvious
it-
retort.
who-
Well, what about
you know,
the
it's
rioters?
attempted
How many people
murder.
were convicted of assaulting
Who
law
really
enforcement
cares?
officers on January 6th?
I believe around 120 approximately, but I could be off a few more.
You are. The answer is more than 200. And how many of those individuals had their sentences commuted or were pardoned by President Trump?
President Trump either commuted or pardoned every defendant from the January 6 events.
So you saw him multiple times being asked, as Trump's top lawyer, how in the world can you defend this? And his answer kind of more or less was, I don't.
I have never said that any sort of violence against law enforcement is appropriate. I talk about what President Trump did. He has the absolute right to pardon anybody for any reason he sees fit, and every one of them got pardoned or commuted. I am not celebrating that. It is a fact.
Right, if that feels like wishy-washy bullshit to you, you definitely aren't alone, because Senator Chris Coons, he hit him with his own quote from an interview that he
Wishy-washy
gave during
bullshit.
CPAC.
If you look at what happened to the men and women convicted because of January 6th,
God, what a fucking
by 5 p.m. on
shit.
January 20th, every one of them was either pardoned or had their sentence commuted, okay? So when folks say you've done nothing, I say you have a very short memory.
And so yeah, as Coons pointed out, that sure as fuck sounded like celebrating the pardons, but Blanche, yet I'm just doubling down.
I wasn't celebrating it. I was merely stating a fact, which is that
Like, woo,
the January 6
woo,
defendants did receive
yeah. I'm just
a
fact
very
celebrating.
generous, pardon or
It's
commutation from
factual.
President Trump.
But then also
Woo.
another topic that Blanche kind of kept stumbling over was, of course, the Epstein files. Because you also had 10 victims actually showing up to the hearing, and they sat there the whole time staring Blanche right in the face. What you had were Democrats repeatedly pressing him on his department's bungling of the files, the way it redacted tons of embarrassing information and didn't redact some of the victims' names. And Blanche, he apologized, though. I will let you judge how sincere it was.
Any mistake that was made is not appropriate. And so, yes, I am sorry that in about 1% of the
that you
documents, mistakes were made. But what I
feel
will say
that
on
way.
top of that is we put tons of resources to rectifying those mistakes immediately.
But even as you had him admitting in the passive voice that mistakes were made, he also pretended like Trump did not spend the better part of a year desperately flailing to keep the files from getting released. Right? In Blanche's retelling of history, Trump's DOJ,
They're
they
still
wanted
not all
so
released
badly
either.
to release the files because it's the most transparent DOJ ever. They were just barred by law from releasing them, and we can actually thank Trump for signing the law that made them public. Even though now several of the Republicans that pushed to make those files getting released possible are no longer going to be in Congress, right, because they became personal enemies of Donald Trump. And even now, after the files are out, you have Blanche still not committing to personally meeting with the victims who were present and hearing their stories.
Chairman, I appreciate them being here today. I also have somebody from my office who's spent her entire career working on cases like Mr. Epstein's. She's available to talk to them.
Will you meet with these 10 survivors?
If they are represented by counsel, we will work with their counsel. If they don't have a lawyer, I will certainly make arrangements to make sure the right people at the Department of Justice meet with them. Absolutely. I'm not allowed to meet with them directly, as you know.
But then later, you had Blanche seeming to contradict himself.
I never said I can't meet with them. I said if they were represented, I had to meet through counsel. But of course, I can meet with them. I'm the acting Attorney General of the United States, so yes, I can.
But then also, today was not just about Blanche, because you also had Jay Clayton having his confirmation hearing, and he's yet another Trump nominee who refused to admit that Joe Biden won the 2020 election. And that becomes especially concerning because the office that he might soon lead is responsible for, among many other important duties, identifying and countering foreign influence and interference in U.S. elections. Because Clayton is Trump's pick to replace Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence, who announced her resignation back in May. And while Trump, he actually first named Bill Pulte, a loyalist who has no national security experience and has launched mortgage fraud investigations against Trump's enemies as head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency as acting director, that immediately sparked pushback, and Trump announced that his permanent pick for the role would be Clayton. And as far as some of Clayton's background, after making millions of dollars working as a Wall Street attorney, he served as head of the Securities and Exchange Commission during the first Trump administration. He's also now serving as U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. And ultimately, he wasn't really seen as all that controversial of a figure, at least by the standards we kind of have come to expect under Trump. Because while, like Pulte, Clayton doesn't actually have any experience serving in any intelligence agency in any capacity, not to mention a few days before winning Trump's nomination, he publicly questioned the integrity of American elections.
We're doing an absolutely terrible job, and the American people are right to question it.
But still, despite the very obvious concerns, you had some lawmakers kind of eager to keep Pulte away from taking over entirely. In fact, so much so, they moved to suspend Senate rules to hold Clayton's confirmation hearing and secure a vote as quickly as possible. But then you had Trump abruptly delaying the confirmation proceedings, ordering Clayton not to appear at the initial hearing in an effort to force Congress to pass the SAVE Act, which is that voter ID bill that rights groups say would disenfranchise millions of Americans who don't have access to passports or can't easily access their birth certificates. Not to mention that it's kind of a big veiled effort to essentially kill mail-in voting. And that move led to Democrats pulling their support for a bill reauthorizing Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which is another controversial program allowing intelligence agencies to carry out mass warrantless surveillance under certain conditions. So that delay, it also cleared the way for Pulte to take over as acting director. And just in his short time in that role, he already fired some intelligence officials while also working on the declassification and potential release of documents related to election security or interference. With that, tomorrow night, he's expected to appear alongside Trump for that televised address we talked about earlier, where he's expected to make claims about election fraud, possibly focused around voting machines. And so now you've got Democrats, some of whom, they may have been willing to accept Clayton, wondering, is he going to be any different than Pulte? Especially since just last week, he also authorized subpoenas for a group of New York Times reporters who reported on security issues relating to the new version of Air Force One that was gifted to Trump by the Qatari government. So what you had were a number of Democratic senators pouncing on that today, with Ron Wyden of Oregon, for example, asking Clayton who directed him to issue those subpoenas. But Clayton, he mostly sidestepped the question, saying that he signed them in connection with an ongoing national security investigation, and added,
I am absolutely committed to and respect our First Amendment and the role of the press.
Right, but the election issue, it really came to dominate the hearing as Clayton time and time again danced around, just one simple question.
Do you deny that Joe Biden won the 2020 election?
But then Clayton notably added,
we have substantial work to do, and I've made it in improving our electoral processes. It's part of national security.
Not a yes, sir.
And I
not
feel
a
strongly
yes.
about that.
Or,
an
it's
answer
not a
that
no.
ended up not inspiring a lot of confidence. And so then you had Angus King, an independent from Maine, really laying into Clayton.
Who won the 2020 election?
I've answered that question. I'm not going to get into that.
You have not
anymore.
answered that question. Could you answer the question? Who won the 2020 election? Pretty simple question.
You answered
Just
it, you can do it again,
Simple
right?
question. Who won the 2020 election?
As I said to you, we went through our processes, and Joe Biden became the president of the United States. I'm here to talk about my qualifications.
One of your qualifications is you told us you're going to tell the truth to power, and you won't answer a very simple question.
I think I've answered it many times.
You have not answered it.
Right, and with all that, probably I would say the closest he came to answering was with Arizona Senator Mark Kelly when he acknowledged that Biden had the most electoral votes. But still, he just wouldn't say Biden won, and so you had Kelly arguing at this show that Clayton doesn't have what it takes for this job.
You're going to be in a room with him many times. And at times, you should have a difference of opinion. And if you can't disagree with him when he's not in the room, are you going to be able to disagree with him when you're sitting across from him in the Oval
Nope.
Office or the situation?
Of course not.
Well, finally, you had John Ossoff going through the motions as well, grilling Clayton about the 2020 election and slamming him for his response. And so with all this, if next week all 8 Democrats oppose his nomination, then he's going to need unanimous support from the panel's 9 Republicans, and then there's going to be a full vote in the Senate. But of course, in the meantime, you still have Acting Director Bill Pulte already hard at work exploiting the office to do Trump's bidding. And that speech tomorrow, it's going to be something we have to keep our eyes on, because it's not just possibly Trump being a sore loser again. If he does hit on this, if the reporting is true, this is laying the groundwork to challenge any future results that he does not like. And Clayton, he said very little to suggest that he would actually stand in the way. Then for your final block on today's show, we've got more news you need to know, starting with the fact that for the first time in over 15 years, you have Senate Democrats completely derailing a must-pass defense bill. This is that massive $1.15 trillion National Defense Authorization Act, which normally passes every single year with massive bipartisan support. It funds the military, it gives the troops a pay raise. It's kind of the ultimate golden goose. But this time, you had every single Democrat voting no, and it really boils down to 2 reasons. They obviously hate America. No, 1, you've got the ongoing war with Iran, and 2, because of a highly controversial provision that would explicitly mandate much closer, unprecedented defense and military integration between the United States and Israel. While you had some, they were painting it as the uniting of 2 militaries, which definitely isn't the case. It could coordinate researching and integrating defense technology between the 2, all of which, for many, is still a bridge too far considering how controversial Israel's action in Gaza and Lebanon have been. Actions at times that have been called genocide by many experts, and also, I mean, it's all been so bad. U.S. support, like just the population of Israel or is the Israeli government, horrible now. Only 12% of 18 to 29-year-olds that lean left support the Israeli government, and even for young Republicans, it's 28%. And also this vote, it just happened a day after the White House notified Congress that the temporary ceasefire collapsed and U.S. airstrikes alongside Israel had officially resumed. A move that arguably reset the 60-day war powers clock, though also it made Democrats furious. They argued that Trump, he's just bypassing Congress entirely. You even had Chuck Schumer blasting the bill, saying that the NDAA cannot become a permission slip for what he called recklessness in Iran. You had people like veteran Senator Tammy Duckworth warning that throwing more money at an unauthorized operation is just a recipe for a forever war. You also had Republican Majority Leader John Thune hitting Democrats, accusing them of putting partisan politics over national security and leaving troops out dry during an active crisis. But this also is a crisis that is entirely self-inflicted by Trump, so does it really count as a crisis? Isn't it Trump and his lackeys who are enabling all this, pushing this forward, that are responsible for any of the negative effects? And actually, why not? Maybe it's just one of those days. I'm gonna go a step further. We should stop funding Israel entirely. I know that's not what this bill is about. And actually, I've got an unlikely ally with this proposal. Benjamin Netanyahu himself. Because while he seemingly is not going to do that clavicular get pumped stream, after Lindsey Graham died, Netanyahu, he went on Fox News to share a story where he essentially said, we don't need America's money.
The last conversation I had, I said, Lindsey,
fucking fantastic.
We've come of age. We have a robust economy. We can take care of our own financing our own weapons for the defense of Israel and defense of our common interests with America. So I'm going to phase out
no more money
the
for
support, the military support for Israel over a period of years and bring it down to 0. We can do it. And he went ballistic. He said, no way, you can't do that, because he was so concerned with our security, which he believed was your security, that he actually fought the Prime Minister of Israel on keeping America's aid or actually increasing it.
You know what? That entirely believable story about a thing that definitely happened, it made me think, yeah, we shouldn't fund Israel anymore. They don't even want the money. It's actually rude, disrespectful to give it to them. So yeah, just throwing that out there. And then your final piece of news today is that you've got 2 men who have been shot dead. One was killed by a semi-truck, and ICE, they're at the center of all of it. Right, yesterday you had 4 men who were in a car in St. Augustine, Florida, when they reportedly encountered a team of ICE agents. Right now, we're not sure if the agents were pursuing them or if there was really any interaction there, but you had DHS just saying that they were conducting an operation when it all happened. But whatever the case, all 4 men, they ended up getting out of the car, running away, and that is when one of them reportedly ran across a road and got hit by a tractor trailer. And while the Florida Highway Patrol said that the driver immediately stopped, they tried to help the man, he died at the scene. So now there's this open investigation, and this comes right after the shootings we saw at traffic stops in Texas and Maine here recently, where neither of the men who were killed were even ICE's intended targets. And you had those sparking protests in both states. And so then with all that, yesterday you had Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen actually sending out a directive for ICE to put a hold on any non-urgent traffic stops.
It's a temporary pause. Look, we had the last couple of shootings, ICE leadership
Get the
along
fucking
DHS
dick out of
believes
your mouth.
They want to look at these last a couple of incidents and look, is there something that could have been done better? Or it's simply ICE doing their job and bad things happen when people don't comply with law enforcement officers. So I think it's going to be a short pause.
But then All of a sudden, first thing in the morning, you have Trump posting, "We cannot give up one of ICE's most important and effective crime-fighting tools, the traffic stop. Once we do, we are playing right into the criminals' hands. The radical left Democrats would like to see this done, but it won't happen on my watch." And right now, there are reports saying that the White House did confirm that he's officially overturning the directive. And you had DHS also announcing that every ICE team has to have at least one agent with a body cam when they carry out their operations. So the way that they framed this was that this is especially needed because the media and sanctuary politicians consistently spread smears about our law enforcement. Well, for many, that framing is bullshit. Also, for a lot of people, as long as they actually implement the body cam rules sooner than later, that is some progress. So in the meantime, you have more families grieving, and with all the immigration chaos, I mean, you have leaders like New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani speaking out this week saying ICE is killing our neighbors. They cannot be reformed. Abolish ICE. But that, my friends, you beautiful bastards, is the end of your Wednesday show, but you've got more you can dive into or get filled in by because there's 2 more videos. One is an extra bit of news.
He knew my drink. Like, what are you talking about?
I think Hunter Biden actually had probably one of the better takes that wasn't just like completely going after Lindsey Graham, but being critical of him, of acknowledging that Lindsey Graham, I mean, we're all kind of like this to a certain degree. We're all different people over periods of time, but Lindsey Graham is a drastically different person than at the least,
level up.
Since,
let's go, baby.
McCain died, and definitely just at least over the last 6 years at least.
Yeah. Well, he is very different. Lindsey Graham is very different to people politically if they're rich white people. If you were in the Middle East, I think he's been the same for you the entire time. I want to be clear about that. But there's Hunter Biden talked a lot about Lindsey before Trump. And he wants to remember him that way. He had a very good line, and whoever wrote it for him is great. I don't know if it's Claude, if it's ChatGPT, whoever punched it up a little bit. They did a really good job on this line by Hunter. But he said, I choose to remember the Lindsey Graham before Trump because it reminds me that there will be life after Trump, which is very true because Lindsey Graham has been talked about a lot over the last few days in his obituaries, whether it be on the radio or if you've tuned into any news networks. They've talked a lot, especially in 2015, 2016. He had the famous tweet that Donald Trump wins, it'll be the end of us all, something around those lines. He had a few other things that he'd said over the years about Trump. He was very anti-Trump as he ran against Trump in 2015 for the Republican nomination for president, which was always insane. I was like, what world did Lindsey Graham ever think that people would vote for him for president? Like, Lindsey Graham only can exist in a South Carolina good old boys network of people who are like, oh, yeah, Lindsey Graham, The Bachelor. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, it's always been insane. He's been one of those ones where I think he also had to flock to Trump for protection because it was very clear to everyone that Donald Trump is the type of person who would out people. Donald Trump is the type of person who would just make a joke out of what everyone's been saying. And so Lindsey, parasitically, like the remora he is, saw a shark and started cleaning his gills every day to make sure that we could have missiles going. But, you know, what he was talking about was Lindsey Graham and Joe Biden were very close friends for a very long time. Jill Biden has talked about how there is a different Lindsey from through Obama's presidency and through Joe Biden knowing him from the Senate and Congress and being close friends and being on the poorer end of our current. If you keep forgetting your job is politics. Like, for most of us, most normal people, I think the part that's been, and which is so confusing about the Democratic statements we've heard from senators like Cory Booker, Amy Klobuchar, and a few others, it's confusing because it breaks kayfabe. And again, everything is wrestling. We have to make this shirt. Politics, especially, though, in America is professional wrestling. And when you see The Undertaker, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Triple H having a beer at an Arby's, not Arby's, you wouldn't drink it at Arby's, at a Buffalo Wild Wings. Wrestlers love Buffalo Wild Wings. If you go to a Buffalo Wild Wings and you saw the NWO having a beer with Degeneration X, you would be like, wait, wrestling's fake? And it's kind of that same way when you hear somebody like Cory Booker, who's supposed to be standing up for our rights and doing this, and be like, well, you know, we disagreed, but he was so funny. That's fuck you. Fuck you. I'm sorry. Like, just Was silence not an option is going to be the ringing quote, I think, of Trump too. Like ever since which is the Ta-Nehisi Coates quote about Charlie Kirk.
I'm in a place where I'm not gonna throw stones at kind of either of the even saying extreme doesn't feel right, but these kind of like moderate Dems that are having these takes of like colleague this, colleague that, as well as I'm not gonna go after the people that kind of rejoice because we are talking about a man that like he never saw a problem or a group of people that he didn't agree with that he didn't want to bomb. He actively throughout his
we get to
career,
go to Mog Home. I haven't been to Mog Home in forever.
People that I would say are easy targets in this country, especially during culture war bullshit.
I love Mog Home.
I understand why it's happening. I also think that having Trump as the head of your party, someone who's rejoiced at the death of his perceived political enemies, it makes any sort of thing where it's like, oh, can you believe them? And it's like, he's just following daddy's footsteps. Who do you think taught us?
Mog Home is so cool.
That's where do you think I learned it from? It was from watching you, Donald.
I learned it from you, Mr. President. I'm just repeating Robert Mueller tweets at this point. Like, shut up. Like, there's so many people. There's so many people who actually posted Trump's Robert Mueller tweet and crossed out Robert Mueller and wrote Lindsey Graham. Because like this is where we are. Like he wrote good. I'm glad Robert Mueller's dead. Like okay, that's allowed now. Just so everybody knows, the same way Trump is complaining and saying that I'm worried that because the Iranians said that they're going to come after me. I'm like, well, Donald Trump, you personally ordered the assassination of an international leader of a republic. You've said that is now a legal part of war. You can't, they keep doing this shit over and over and over again where they want it to be like, oh, look at us, we're the bad guys, we do this thing. It's like, okay, well, what you just did is you legalize that for everybody. So if you're going to talk shit on Robert Mueller, if you're going to talk shit on, I can't believe, Rob Reiner, other people, like over time that Donald Trump specifically has gone after.
One's even more
we have, how many bards do we have? I'm the only bard,
like,
really?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, him and his wife were murdered by their own child. Like it was insane. And for him to tap dance on it, no, then we get to tap dance too. And I think the other thing, though, I think it's important. I do think it is very important for us to, when we find out that a monster like Lindsey Graham is gone, that we say exactly how we feel in that moment. I personally think it's very important. And the reason why is because I want the rest of Congress, who has one foot in the fucking grave, to know that it's not going to be kumbaya when they get in the dirt. Because he is the 6th member of Congress to die this session. Over 1% of the 535 people who make over $175,000 a year going to Washington, D.C. to represent us in insider trade have died of being old. They're all just old. They have old people shit. We used to put old age on we don't put old age on it anymore. Instead, we say, what is it, aortic, what is it?
Aortic dissection.
Yeah. That's just old, by the way. He's 71. He's 71 years old. My bus driver test still works. I would not have let Lindsey Graham drive my kids to school because he would turn it into a drone and probably shove it up his ass.
What are your thoughts about kind of the internet immediately going into conspiracy territory of saying Lindsey got killed by Israel, Russia, Ukraine?
Yeah. That's what we do now.
I thought you were like, I agree on all fronts.
No, it's what we do. I mean, listen, after Charlie Kirk and after what Candace has done with Charlie Kirk and constantly moved it, like constantly moving the goalposts. They did this shit with Antonin Scalia. When Scalia died, people were like, oh, old men don't die in their sleep like that. Like they're like somebody, the pillow was on his face. It's, what are you talking about? He was old. They're all old. You don't have to poison anyone. You just wait. Time is there. Time waits for all time.
Time is the ultimate
They're just showing
killer.
up. I think the bigger thing to me, what that was actually shocking to me, was that the Iranians weren't like, got him. You know what I mean? Like if the Iranians had leaned into it a little more, I think they did. Like they implied it in some of their propaganda, because again, the Iran war has restarted like officially now. Today, I believe this morning, we're recording on Tuesday evening.
They're doing it for Lindsey. They're doing it for Lindsey.
No, but that's what I mean. But also, one of the things was the Israelis over the weekend they were like, we have intel that Donald Trump is on a hit list. And I'm like, intel? They had building-sized billboards that were like, we're doing this. Like, what the fuck? I can't even, because this is going on YouTube and I want to make sure we don't get demonetized, I can't even tell you guys specifically of how overt. They were interviewing, I opened up TikTok, and they were interviewing people walking around carrying placards saying, we will blank Trump. And I was like, whoa, fellas, very direct. I think you're supposed to say unalived. That's what I'm...
They got to be worried about takedown notices. They got to be worried about TOS.
Oh, no. Yo,
with their death threats.
Could you imagine being part of an Iranian propagandist and being like, guys, if the government isn't shutting down our internet, then Larry Ellison is. Like, just turning things on and off.
I think what happened is they did a soul-for-soul trade. I think maybe someone went to Vormir. They figured it out. I don't know. It's like, because Mitch McConnell is still around, apparently.
Well,
He
They went to
I talked about
Vormir.
this on the show. I don't personally, unless like an AI expert tells me like that also isn't like a self-described AI expert that the photo is fake. I'm like, okay, that photo can be real.
I think it's real. I do think it's real. It's interesting. It's a photo.
It doesn't. It's very interesting that it's a photo. It does.
God,
it is a photo
he's-
that does not
looks-
instill confidence. That man
Yeah.
looks like they like, you know how like when you try and get your dog to swallow a pill or something and you go, it looks like they blew air into his face. So he's like,
Yeah. They're doing, Phil, we're both parents here. We're both parents, and we both own older people in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
They're jingling keys over that fucking phone. So he looks up. He's not looking into the camera. He's looking above the camera. They're doing this. They're like, hey, buddy. Mitch McConnell has a far off look. Lindsey has no look. Mitch McConnell has a far off look. I don't know if he can speak. I don't know if he actually is.
But he can type, guys. He can type a lot. He can write.
He can type
a 4-paragraph response.
His old, because that's the other thing too. Actually, with Mitch McConnell, I found out over the last couple weeks, his staff is very loyal and has been with him a very, very long time. His chief of staff, in particular, has been with him since 1984, the year I was fucking born, 42 years ago.
That's crazy.
So like, no, this is crazy. But if you look at the document,
He's basically like my age.
It is a cropped square that they put into a Word document that they printed to PDF. That is the official release. They didn't post a photo on Facebook. They put the photo at the top of a Word document, and then hopefully they printed to PDF. I'm actually just assuming that, because everywhere else I've seen it was clearly either a screenshot or a print to PDF of that document that was then being posted on social media. But here's the thing. It's not like he can't just speak to all of his constituents right now. Facebook Live, bitch. I know you're old and so are your people. Go on Facebook. Lindsey Graham, go on Facebook. Not Lindsey.
Mitch is gonna...
No, actually, you know what? No, Lindsey Graham, go on Facebook Live right now. Lindsey Graham, go on Facebook Live right now. I want to see it. Call me from hell, bitch. Please. Please. I want to know who's down there.
I like that you're like, I'm gonna be like really tame about it. You're like, can't hear you from down there.
I'm sorry. I've said over the weekend I did a podcast. I guessed it on a pod. And they were like, they had to cut a line that I said. They were like, we're so sorry. It was such fire. It was a line about dirt and who was standing on it and who was under it. But I'll leave it at that. But it was good. It was a good line, and it felt. The one thing I would
Be
say
his
is
best.
Mitch showing back up did very much feel like the Money in the Bank contract in wrestling. In wrestling, every now and then, like the guy you want to win wins the championship. You're like, oh my God, he finally did it. And then, like, he's holding the belt, the confetti's falling. You're like, yeah, Lindsey Graham's gone. And then the glass break noise. And then, what's that? It's Mitch McConnell's running down the ramp. You're like, no, I was here for it. I paid $39.99 for this pay-per-view. Yeah. But no, I was really struck today that we've lost 6 members of Congress. That's 1% of Congress. Now, producer Ben has noted, I'm going to say allegedly on this. Allegedly, this is a normal number? We usually lose between 4 to 6 members of Congress? I'm like, I don't feel like that's normal.
The average age in the Senate is what? I think 64 years old. Like, these are some old fucking relics that are helping run this country.
But the average of us losing 4 to 6 members of Congress every like 2 years, because it's 2-year congressional.
I don't mean to freak you out.
Yeah.
We in our 40s are now in people we know die territory.
Oh,
okay.
well, yeah.
Okay. When you all of a sudden you're at 60, motherfuckers are dropping, and it seems like with almost like no regard to what makes sense. It'll be like the unhealthiest person on the planet will somehow live to 110, and then someone that like runs every day or something. Maybe Donald Trump's right. Maybe we only have a certain amount of energy that we could use.
I will be honest.
You gotta hold on to it.
It's weirdly to me when I heard that theory, I was like, I mean, I'm not saying I believe it, but I'm like, that's kind of, I think subconsciously my brain thinks that, because there's times where I'm like, oh, I need to have energy. I should take a nap now. That's my view of it. I think you recharge by sleeping. Phil and my wife both believe you recharge by hopping on an elliptical.
We're gonna go out to a sponsor in a second, but there is a study that just came out. At least I believe so. That says to feel more energy regarding the sleep idea, you just got to gaslight yourself. You just got to tell yourself that was enough sleep.
Yeah.
Because if you tell yourself,
that's what I
tired,
tell
get good sleep,
myself. Yeah.
your body will actively it's a study that I just made up in my head right now, or saw in passing on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, Lindsey Graham, actually, I'm going to say that doesn't work, because that sounds very much like The Secret, the idea of you can manifest stuff. Because Lindsey Graham tried to manifest in his last
gaslight
words on
myself.
Earth by saying, quote, I can't die now. I still need to do the Russia sanctions, get Iran sorted, and do Israel-Saudi normalization. And then he dropped dead. He's like, I can't die now. I'm so busy with war. Ugh. Like, that must have been a weird moment for him to discover that he had a heart, and that it's killing him. I don't know. And then this is also the other thing too. Again, when people were like, don't talk shit, I'm like, much like Erica Kirk in the fireworks, they dragged his sister out there and installed her faster than anyone knew he had a sister.
Crazy.
Like, that was crazy to me. I know some people are like, oh, the sister, that's weird. They do this all the time in the Senate, where typically they'll pick a family member.
That's
Usually it's a spouse.
insane.
But famously, Lindsey Graham never wanted to admit that he's ever been in love for very many reasons. And do not Google ladybugs, by the way, everyone. It's out there. I don't know if it's true. It's gross. The ladybug shit is so gross, and it was everywhere. You know what I'm talking about, Phil?
What is it in reference to?
It was somebody claimed a while ago that they were a sex worker, and it was their thing of what this is my experience with Lindsey Graham, and he described something as ladybugs. I'll leave it there. But it feels
It's crazy.
It feels like one of those ones that is very much like the JD Vance couch thing, where it's like, okay, it is a little bit of a propaganda. It's a little bit of a psyop. I'm not going to tell you to stop. I'm not going to tell you it's fake. But come on, guys. There's a little bit, because there's a few people who came forward. There was one or two other people afterwards who were like, yeah, here's my thing about him. But I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like somebody who lived the life that he was alleged to have lived, there should have been more rapidly. Well, Phil, America's covered
This
in diarrhea,
behemoth
apparently.
is just jacked.
Don't make that noise.
So jacked.
That was just my mouth. That was my mouth for the audio listeners out there. No, I know this was you came to me like with the energy of oh, I heard the bad news, buddy. And I was like, I haven't had Taco Bell surprisingly in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I know that that's rare. That usually we finish the pod and I'm just I make you, editor Brendan, and producer Ben just watch me inhale 4 soft taco supremes with as much Diablo sauce that it should ruin me. But
Hell yeah.
I'm famously a Mexican pizza guy. Most people know
Really?
that about
Insane.
me. I love a Mexican pizza. It's me.
I
and
like the
Doja
Mexican
Cat are
pizza.
Mexican pizza people.
Although I guess it's
also
not
love
insane because Taco Bell is not Mexican food. It's Taco Bell, and you should have the most Taco Bell shit. And Taco
no,
pizza
I like
is
that. I like that and the double decker tacos. I think they got rid of the double decker tacos. But they were really good.
Big
Or
quesadilla
Taco
fan.
Bell's whole fucking business model seems to be like, we have some staples, and then we're going to release the best thing you've ever eaten, and then 30 days later it's gone.
No,
until,
Yep.
until we figure
No,
it out.
that actually legitimately is their business model. They have learned hugely through the app. It's one of the reasons why they sold off Pizza Hut. Yum Brands sold off Pizza Hut because they're like, actually now Pizza Hut is dragging on us. Taco Bell was where they've experimented the most, and what they've learned is to create scarcity. They do the same way they sell Fortnite skins is what they do with your Taco Bell recipe, because all they're doing is taking, I think it's like the same 9 ingredients, right? It's like 9 or 12 ingredients, and they're just putting it in different configurations. You know, a lot of people would point to the 89-cent burrito from Taco Bell for a while and be like, "Look what inflation took to us." That was actually a special. Like that was like a special deal they had for like, they're like, "Oh, we wanted to," because like people were actually
I
beginning
was
to go
in
to
college.
People were starting to go to like
Those
real
were the
burrito
days.
places and be like, "Oh, did you guys know that when we eat Taco Bell, it's garbage? I'm pretty sure there's wood in here." And like, "No, it's called silica. Stop being weird." And so they were like pushing that for a little bit. But the thing I want to get to with this, there is a parasite apparently that we used to track in this
I
country.
know.
The CDC and the FDA and some of our food
I
systems.
had a salad
We
today. I'm
used
gonna have
to
explosive watery
strenuously track
diarrhea.
A diarrhea parasite that none of us knew existed. And then a South African with a chainsaw came in with RFK, and they said, "You don't need to watch out for parasites." They cut that program, and now the government is trying to blame Taco Bell, who, weirdly, I trust more when it comes to diarrhea than the government. Can I be clear about that?
They're the experts. They're the experts.
They are the experts. Taco Bell came out very early, and they were like, "Listen, we can't trust the lettuce or the onions. At some of our locations, we're getting rid of it."
I love
because
tomatoes.
The reason this is happening is
Tomatoes are
because
my
of
favorite.
factory farming and mass production of our food systems, and the fact that we got rid of some of these monitoring systems that we used to have. Because, again, a big thing with the MAGA movement, Maha, and the conservatives in general is coming through and removing. They don't want to pay for warning systems, because they go, paying for a warning system is a waste of time and money, and so now we all have to pay for it in the toilet.
Explosive.
Well, and that's one of the big things to understand is that this isn't like one night. This isn't like, oh, I had a boozy Taco Bell 2 a.m. thing. This is like they're extended weeks, and I think as of Tuesday there have been 3,300 cases.
Wiped.
I believe they're getting closer and closer to 100 hospitalizations. I have to double check the numbers because we keep getting updates, but it seemed gnarly. And obviously, like, I know that we are in different times, but it is a situation where all of a sudden, they're having to make sure that these people are drinking plenty of water because it's such an extended period of time. You can get super dehydrated, and through dehydration, you can actually die.
Yeah, I don't think people understand. Again, this is one of those things. There's that quote that Joe Rogan likes to say all the time, which is like a bullshit quote, right? Hard times create hard men, and hard men create soft times. That bullshit. You know what I'm talking about? That bullshit
I know what
quote?
you're talking about. Also, it's more than 140 people have been hospitalized. But yes, I know the.
That type of bullshit. This idea of like, we were strong in World War II, and then all our men turned into pussies. No, it's actually the reverse. It's we get so bored with how good everything is that we throw out all of the warning signs. Anyone who's worked construction knows all construction laws and rules are written in blood. Someone died for some of these safety rules. This is one of the things
Oh,
that we're
100%.
looking at whether the screw worm. Remember the old world screw worm? Again, another thing we were looking out for how many decades we had, and we didn't even know this thing fucking existed. And suddenly there's flesh-eating flies in our cattle. Like, these fuckers go out of their way to send us back to times that we didn't even know we were lucky not live in. Because I don't know if you guys know this, to all the listeners out there. Back in the day, if you go read medieval or even like up to like Victorian era history, you'll be reading about a guy who's really, really cool, and he's all these great ideas. You know what happens? He shits himself to death out of fucking nowhere. Because that's just what they used to do. Dysentery hits so regularly. Like, this is the part that drives me crazy as a millennial. I was taught to not get dysentery on the Oregon Trail. Like, but RFK wasn't, because he was playing with snakes. But more so than that, Phil, one of the things that's actually insidious, that's going to be insidious about this, is it's going to make us trust our food even less. Because think about what they're telling us to not eat right now. Lettuce, vegetables, fruit, fiber. They're
Yeah.
telling us literally not to eat fiber, but also they're saying that this parasite in particular, and by the way, I'm going at state-level health officials in certain states, because that's been who's been stepping forward with the tracking, monitoring, and understanding about this. This specific parasite, apparently you have to cook it off. So salads are out.
Yeah, you can't wash
and
it.
And it's mainly been prepackaged lettuce has been one thing they've been pointing to a lot as well because of the way it spreads. And then whether or not, and it also spreads through our water system. I learned that from one of your Instagram reels. I was like, oh, you had a very nice graphic of the water spraying on the crops. And I went, it's poop. That was how I felt watching it. But this is just, it's going to speak to people more and more. And I think, again, much like we didn't realize 2 years ago it was pretty great to live in a country where masked men couldn't pull you out of your car and shoot you in the head. We now are going to live in a time where you're going to be looking at a vegetable and wondering, like, will this give me diarrhea forever? Like, again, I never had that thought before. And, like, you would hear about salmonella outbreaks or whatever, but there's recalls, and those things have happened over time. We felt very strongly the FDA was created on purpose because of issues like this. And we have people who've come in and systematically destroyed these systems, destroyed the people who were looking out for us. They removed the watchers from the gate and then screamed that everyone was an invader.
Don't worry, though. You can survive on Steak and Shake because they cook with beef tallow.
That's right.
Don't worry. They them and their MAGA CEO, is it? That's just
the Maha CEO.
Beef
Actually, you know what's crazy?
Ryan.
The Cracker Barrel near me just closed. And I was like, that is part of very early, maybe almost a year ago when this show started.
Put in my lap, buddy.
Put the salute back up. Put the flag at half-mast for Cracker Barrel.
Put in my lap.
Grinder, you got to be...
Did Republicans forgive them after they went back with their graphic?
No,
because
I think
apparently that was a big culture war issue.
It broke. Well, and it was a culture war issue because of the Steak and Shake guy. Steak and Shake guy was doing a lot of bots because he was trying to take over. He wanted to take over Cracker Barrel, and they made it a whole stupid. Like, it was a bad rebrand. It was a bad.
It was a bad rebrand.
I'll
go with that.
Well, there's a whole thing that they've done to us where they go. They take things and they make it plainer. They make it simpler. They cut all of the frills. They cut all the fun out of it, and then they call it millennial. And that's not. We don't want that. That's what's happened to us. Millennial gray, flipper gray. These are things that have happened to our generation.
That's
because
crazy.
Of the Great
We're
Recession.
the Hot Topic generation. Even if you didn't like dress emo, it was like everything had character. Everything had. Oh God! Now I feel. Back in my day, everything.
Back in my day, no, can't tell you.
Songs could be 8 minutes.
Songs could be 8 minutes.
They used to sometimes tell a story.
When I was a boy, Dave Matthews was on the TV, and he was telling us there was blood in the water. And it turned out that was actually, if you listen to the lyrics, pretty deep. I've actually been on a Dave Matthews kick, don't ask.
Good.
Why?
What's wrong with that?
Well, there's so much to say about it. That's a great pun. The few people who got it is going to, get in the comments and tell us how much you enjoyed my Dave Matthews pun and how much you have to say about it. Because we're all just under the table and dreaming. But, Phil, I miss a corporate eatery. I went to a Chili's the other day. I had the time of my life. I miss going to like a Chili's. I miss going to a
What's a
TGI
corporate
Fridays.
eatery?
Just this like I used to call them shit on the walls restaurants, like a Ruby Tuesdays. You know what I mean? Like, they got the tchotchkes, those type of things. There might be a different term for it. Every other day I hear a new term for like music I listened to 15 years ago. They're like, this is lower jaw grunge. This is hopecore millennial stomp.
I fucking hate
no.
the genre.
All those places now, at least based off of TikTok, they live or they die based off of the cheese pull of their mozzarella stick. That seems to be the only thing that matters. And if you can get a really inexpensive margarita.
Oh, yeah. No, I was going to say, the next thing is, what gimmick drink can you poison people with? A Dollarita, a fishbowl, and it has to be a color that is it does not exist in nature. It has to be a blue that is more blue than beyond you ever imagined. I mean, like, listen, I like to take my son, my toddler and I, we live like at least, I'd say once every couple weeks. Maybe it's like every 6 weeks or so. My dad will come visit, and I'll be like, we're going to Applebee's. Like, there's an Applebee's near us. And
I want their grilled cheeseburger.
Shit. It's all parboiled.
There's a certain place where I'm like, you know what? If I don't eat here all the time, I'm allowed. This is my shit-eating place. It can sometimes be a Buffalo Wild Wings, although sometimes their wings break, and that's like the cardinal sin of wing places. It can be definitely a Chili's. You can't go wrong with a Chili's or an Applebee's, I feel like.
Chili's is good.
I did an Outback recently. It made me so happy. But here's the thing, though. It makes me sad, though.
Those are all over the place. That was actually one of my my longest jobs when I was like going through college. And that was where I experienced that even if you have a chain, they are run massively different. The one I was at in North Carolina, this guy ran it like it was a fucking 5-star restaurant. Those bowls are chilled. We care about everything. I went to East Carolina University, transferred there. Shithole. It might as well have been like Ruby Tuesdays. It was trash.
Yeah, but it really is store to store. But the other thing though is every time I go into it, again, I'm gonna just call them corporate eateries. So like an Outback, we went in. We had some. My father-in-law was with us. We had the toddler, and we're like, hey, it's noon. It was 4th of July weekend, which I mean it's gonna be a little bit slower. We were one of 3 tables. We were one of 3 tables in the entire fucking place at from noon to 1. And I was like, it should be more than this. It should be more than this. And again, I'm also kind of going through it. My midlife crisis right now is that my childhood mall just shut down forever. It's been dead. It's been dead for a while, but they're beginning to tear it down. And so there's a few things like that where I'm like, oh no, the world's changing around me. I was always promised that Outback would be here. You know what I mean? There's certain things where I'm like, no, this was good, and it was always going to be good, and it was always supposed to stick around.
That was
and
like a
now I'm looking around,
Luby's we used to go
and
to.
then Lindsey Graham died, and I'm like, what is this world?
I like that the administration's grinding everything into the ground so much that we are waxing poetic about fried food at chain restaurants. We're like, well, at least we have something.
Oh fuck!
For now.
I died.
Listen,
Holy
Outback,
shit!
reach out if you want to be a sponsor. They got the triple dipper on there now, Phil. All right, you want the cheese fries, you want blooming onion bits, which is actually better, and they got these big mozzarellas that are like boomerangs, and they got a good pull. All right, and actually, I would say the blooming onion. I know you've had a blooming onion. It was better as a little crispy bits because that way you're not getting half crispy, half actual just raw, cooked onion. It was all crispy. I loved it.
Yeah,
Wife couldn't have a bite.
Yeah, there was a year where I lived off of the brown bread there with sugar butter. I think I gained 50 pounds. it was rough.
Oh yeah.
So Alex, depending on when people are listening or watching this, we are either still back in war with Iran or it's over. Because I was looking at the timeline and it changed.
We have to get back
pretty
to
much,
real life
every day, or there was some big update or statement that then got pulled back and then twisted. But it is crazy to think that June 17th apparently is I was like, how long ago was it? That was when the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, went into effect. And then also stuff kept getting hit and people kept shooting at stuff, but it wasn't a new war. But now you've got Trump saying, hey, new war, restart the clock.
Officially. He he had to send a letter to Congress, and he was like, it's real again. And I think as the time of we're recording,
it's not a new
we have
war,
a naval
though.
blockade against any Iranian shipping. But also, and we've been posting videos of us blowing shit up again.
But also, who knows what the fuck's going to go on? He in a 24-hour period, he was like, also, we're going to charge 20%, as America. It's I think an American Reimbursement Fund or some shit. And then less than 24 hours later, he's like, actually, I'm pulling it back. The thing that is not in effect, that didn't exist, that I just said. And instead, I have some deals with some people out there.
So what's crazy about that actually is because I've been kind of following that from afar and kind of looking at it because the Iranians were like, we're going to charge $2 million toll. And then Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, some of you guys might have forgotten about him. Secretary of State came out and pushed back against that a while ago. He's like, it's international waters. It's international waters. You cannot charge a toll to move through international waters in this way. Blah, blah, blah. And he went this whole thing about international law. Then Trump was like, we're charging 20%. And then Marco Rubio was like, we need to get rid of the International Criminal Court. That happened at the same day, Phil. Yesterday, Marco Rubio came out and was like, the International Criminal Court is evil and they're trying to overturn us and all these things. And he was like, we're going to push back and fight. And that's where we are. Just so everybody knows, our government is currently at war with Iran and the International Criminal Court at the same time And none of us know whether or not this is because of what Benjamin Netanyahu said, because that's kind of where we're also stuck with, because a lot of this stuff, when the Member of Understanding got signed, which I would like to call the surrender deal, when that happened, when we lost, and then he failed at losing, the Israelis pushed back at it a lot. And now I do want to say real fast, just because I'm making some jokes here.
Got his little bird hat.
Once again,
little archer hat.
We never should have been in this war. We should not have done any of it. I am going underneath the Trump's rules that he has set forward for what he views as a victory. Under him, Rubio, Pete Hegseth, and others, and what all of the GOP has said, what would be a win condition, Trump fails at on everything. What would be a win condition? The Strait of Hormuz is completely open. None of our allies are being bombed anymore. The Iranians would swear that they would, there'd be a process to make sure that they weren't going through nuclear weapons, that any of the nuclear dust would be removed. These are all things that Trump has said. Maybe even a move towards democracy. Maybe they would let us shoot Girls Gone Wild videos in Tehran. I don't know. These are just random. He says weird shit every weekend.
Well, when you're talking about the weird shit that he's saying, he went from, hey, look at me, I'm signing the Memorandum of Understanding. I have peace with Iran and I brought peace to the Middle East. But now, this week, he said, that was just a test that didn't mean very much because we're dealing with dishonorable sleazebags.
They're crazy people. I talk to them. I don't care to talk to them anymore. I don't want to talk. Philip DeFranco, they reached out to me and they said, please don't bomb the funeral of the man I killed. And I said, I'm a gracious God. I can do that. I won't bomb. And you know what they did, Phil? They talked shit on me bombing a guy I killed. They said, how dare Donald Trump bomb that guy that we like so much? And I said, fuck you. And then they said, fuck you back. And then before I said, what? And then they said, what? And I said, do it, pussy. And then they did. And I was shocked that they did it. And so now I'm doing it back 3 times as hard. And it's a lot. But, we're doing good. It's nuclear. It's nuclear. I have a joke about that I, as the president, say that is very uncomfortable for anyone else to say about nuclear. He calls it I'm not even going to do it. Should I do it? We're going to play footsie with it the same way that I play footsie with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know how to end this. You're supposed to cut me off eventually, buddy.
With what? With what was I going to with words. I was going to be like, on that note, U.S. supplied Patriot missiles.
Yeah.
There is an issue with U.S. Patriot air defense interceptor and inventory because it's been reported that it's significantly depleted because of the Iran conflict, which then gets into America's ability to defend Gulf allies, right? And
yes, it's a tire coffer.
Barely been doing that. It's
Level
been
60.
This is. I don't think there's ever been
I'm 58.
a moment in modern American history that has shown the American military as such a paper tiger. Because the thing is this military, everything Iran is throwing, this military could counter. But because of the leadership that we have, they cannot counter any of it. I spoke to, over 4th of July weekend, I spoke to a 20-year Navy vet who is still working in systems and things like that. And I was like, I just looked at him, I was like, so the Strait? And Phil, he reached into a bag, pulled out a bottle of vodka, and never stopped cursing. He just started screaming. He's like, these fucking idiots. They had plans on plans on plans of if you do this, here is our 27-point thing of the what we follow through. They knew exactly what to do. Trump was like, I'm built different. That's where we are. And we've been stuck here this entire time. And right now, we are currently at war to return us back to the day before he decided to put us into war. And that's never going to happen, just so everybody knows. They're putting out fake gas stations near me to try to hide gas prices. Inflation is going to get worse.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We are out
the fake
of
gas station.
The gas reserves.
Them gas or whatever.
Are virtually depleted now. We're at a point where it's almost completely gone. He has dumped them. And this is a two-part. That was also Biden's fault. Biden dumped a lot of our fuel reserves because of Ukraine. When Russia invaded Ukraine because of the price spikes to fight against inflation and others. So we were slowly bringing those back in.
I mean, I'm going to say a crazy thing. I think what was happening in Ukraine and what's happening with Israel, drastically different things that should not be seen as one-to-ones regarding the help that is being given to a foreign country.
No, 100%.
I mean,
because
and actually, something that also hits on that, right, is fucking all this shit that we've seen happen with Ro Khanna, since Wednesday, I think last Wednesday.
Yes, Ro Khanna traveled to Israel, and he was taking a tour in the West Bank where he was, in his words, detained, captured by settlers, and then IDF soldiers showed up, and they took the settlers' side. And again, I mean, this is kind of, when it comes to foreign policy, this was an incredibly smart thing by Ro Khanna, because he keeps pointing out to it, if they can do this to him, they can do this to Ro Khanna, a sitting United States congressman, imagine what they are doing to Palestinians who are just trying to go home. And that was this whole point he's been making. And watching the Israeli and the MAGA conservative responses to this, and I will say also some centrist libs, the responses to Ro Khanna have been very, very interesting. Because they're like, you went to a restricted area. I'm like, no, he didn't. He was just in the West Bank. He was visiting people. Like, you're allowed to visit people. What happened was these settlers are insane, and they're being pushed by Ben-Gvir, who is then also still pushing with Netanyahu. And their goal is the complete destruction of any Palestinians living in the West Bank. They want to push them completely out and have that in the Greater Israel Project. This isn't like a massive conspiracy. This isn't hidden. They have plaques about this. They've put images of this on podiums as they've spoken. Sumatras has had this on a podium as he's been speaking directly to people. Like, it's very, very well known. And so I think this is kind of a major inflection point for Congress, because it's one thing when it's been, and it shouldn't be. It should not be. It should not be this way. It's been one thing when it's been activists it's been happening to. It's another thing when it's been one of their coworkers. So whether or not Congress does nut up and actually starts to understand this, I mean, Hakeem Jeffries still turned around and still voted to not deny Israel weapons funding. But there's still something in this. And I think to a greater extent, this also speaks to just how fucking stupid the Israelis have gotten over time and how cocky they've gotten.
I was going to say, yeah, I think it seems more like the cockiness connected to, I feel like maybe there has to be some sort of feeling of like righteous, justified action of some sort, because some of the stuff you see is just fucking insane.
Yeah.
And regarding Khanna, yeah, I think to your point, I think he was he was part of a 3-day tour of the West Bank. They visited things like a Palestinian elementary school that was destroyed by settlers. Some of the quotes here I have from Khanna's account is, I see these young men brandishing M4s circling, circling our vans, cursing us out in Hebrew and Arabic, which I didn't understand, and filming us, laughing at us, wiping our windows while doing that, blockading us. And these hoodlums come in with machine guns, M4, an American-made machine gun, and they detain us. They block off the road, and then they call the IDF. And the IDF is on their side, not on the side of Americans. I saw the arrogance in their eyes. There's that word of those settlers, 21 and 22-year-olds with guns, laughing that they had detained us. If they'll do this to an American congressman, imagine what is happening to Palestinian families who are just trying to live. Now, one of the things that it will be interesting to see play out. One of the last times I looked at this, I saw Khanna saying, I expect Israel will prosecute the violent settlers and IDF soldiers who detained American citizens. But then I believe that there was a contradictory statement given from the IDF, who said, upon receiving the report, IDF troops were dispatched to the scene, quickly dispersed the Israeli civilians and reopened the block road. The IDF soldiers operating in the area did not take part in blocking the road. And you had Khanna on Meet the Press saying the IDF is lying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they're going to look at this. The IDF tactics that are happening in the West Bank especially are very similar to ICE tactics. I mean, not to completely conflate the two, but the idea of, you were only, the IDF showed up and then you were freed after an hour. Why are you bitching? Why are you bitching? You were just being held up for an hour. Like, this is where they're going with it, right? This idea of we need to, the Israelis claiming that they need to have this level of security over this bullshit. And again, not understanding or refusing to understand that they are just begetting more ill will and more hate because of they're allowing these settlers to do these things over and over and over again. The M4s he's talking about were personally handed out in the past by Ben-Gvir, who is the same guy who I got a TikTok strike for fucking quoting directly. The man who said that for every one Israeli mother who cries, he wants 1,000 Lebanese mothers to weep. Like there is a section of the Israeli government that is so beyond evil now in the eyes of the world and probably to themselves that they can't see that wearing a noose as a lapel pin is insane. It's an insane thing to do. And I take my hat off again to Ro Khanna. I mean, he has had a interesting history when it comes to Ro being the Silicon Valley representative for a very long time. I've interviewed him. I think you've interviewed him, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I really
this feels like an evolved Ro.
Yes.
He's been moving really interestingly over the last 2 years especially, but it ends up getting into this place of I go into a place of like what is his genuine nationwide appeal. There's been a lot of talk about him possibly trying to run for the nomination in 2028, and I don't know if I end up being cynical of going, I don't know if he could win, but I think that someone pretty much with his exact agenda could, or like the things that he's pushing could do well, because I don't know. But once again, I don't know if it's like that thing where you're not seeing it too early, or you're seeing it too early.
I think that there's a few levels on that. I think the part of it comes down to speaking style. Part of it's going to come down to comfort. I think regardless, he should at least run as a candidate to be able to push back to move people
Yeah.
and to be part of the conversation in some of these debates. Because in 28, I'm going to do the thing. If we're allowed to have it in 28, if there is 16, which I think there'll probably be 12 or 16 fucking Democrats up there, and 9 of them are going, well, actually, I believe my friend John Fetterman on this one, then Ro Khanna could be like, well, they held me captive, fuckers. He can speak to that directly while wearing a suit, while wearing the lapel pin. He can do those things a little bit better, and I think he can push it in that way. But yeah, going back between this moment, I think it was also a very good moment for him to have done this, because we seemingly were in a little bit of a break, as far as the American public has been concerned, when it's come to Lebanon, Iran, Israel, and those. I think we've kind of had it. We kind of had a July 4th World Cup kind of mini break.
Yeah,
like when it comes to the news cycle, it's been on. I'm not saying it stopped. I'm saying it's
the
been back.
mimics are back.
Sure. I mean, I think that certain things like certain wars and then certain attacks, they stay top of mind, it feels like, for the American public for 30 days, and then it kind of goes away. I think, not, and I'm saying for the general public, not for the people that are invested in kind of current everyday events. Even Iran, I think, is an interesting one because Trump did this thing where he had the MOU and he's been making a different claim every single day. A number of people, I think, got exhausted by the constant changes, and part of the reason people cared about specifically Iran rather than like what was happening with Gaza, which I think a lot of people like understandably gravitated to, is that it's not like Iran has been widely looked at as an empathetic government or something, or like being run in that sort of way. But when we were talking about this, I was like, I wonder where the favorables are. Like, I always kind of go to the polling, and some of the most recent Pew Research, this is like from the last week. I didn't know it was this, this insane. As far as percentage of U.S. adults who have a favorable view of, if you say the Israeli government, even that is at just over 51% for Republicans. For Democrats, it is 16%. And then even for the Israeli people, whereas in 2022, Republicans or lean Republican was 77%. For Democrats, it was 62%. Now those are at 65 and 43%. So now you're talking about the population. You're not even talking about like when you say things about Netanyahu. And so that also then becomes this weird situation of,
I didn't even see him get sucked in by the
stomach. A lot of
stomach.
Israeli politicians try to conflate the two. Genuine criticism of the Israeli government and what they're doing and their actions, and just Jewish people in general, and how those are going to rise. And obviously, like, the rise of anti-Semitism is very scary, especially, I know when I talk to Jewish friends here, they talk about it. But even
Not bad,
a lot of those
but-
people are anti-Netanyahu and what's happening.
Yeah. Well, and it's because there's also an internet break and there's an age gap break where I think
Yes.
is very palpable. And part of it is, I think, for some of us who are older, I'd say probably most of us who are like people of us who are in their 40s.
God, I'm in my 40s now.
We met Holocaust survivors.
Crazy.
We've met
Nobody's
people.
watching.
But the biggest thing too is I think is the split in.
Why am I talking?
There
to people?
is when it comes to the view
Okay.
of
Can I
Israel.
can I expand on the age thing because I have that
Yeah, go
in front
ahead.
of me as well. That is also an insane thing. Now, on the Dem side, if we're talking about the Israeli government, 18 to 29 and then 65 plus, you're talking about a range that goes on a slope of 12% to 21%. For Republicans, this is the really big shift, and this is why like people like Fuentes and others have popped up on the show more and more. For 65 and older, for Republicans, 75% have a favorable view of the Israeli government. There is then a continuous slide as you get younger. Even for Republicans, if they are 18 to 29, only 28% have a favorable view of the Israeli government. So this is just as far as public perception, and I don't know how much they fucking care about the international community or anything as far as the Israeli government, but this has been devastating in that regard. I think it's why you see random shit like that there might be a clavicular Bibi Netanyahu meet up at a gym because they're trying to people are trying to normalize this fucking guy.
And there's also a part of it too.
A
Again,
fucking
look
war
at,
criminal, dude.
Fuentes
Needs to be thrown
Candace
under the
Owens,
jail.
Ian Carroll, and some of these other ones who play around in, especially the mix of they're actually anti-Semites who are also anti-Zionist because they're anti-Israel type of bullshit. Right. They can live in there because the Israelis also dance in there, and that
They're conflating the two things.
They're conflating the two things,
Yes.
but we've legitimately had Benjamin Netanyahu sit in New York City with a room full of influencers, who many of who are dual citizens, and say we had to conquer TikTok. Israel needed to control TikTok. Israel needed to do these specific things. That the internet is a battlefield as well. And we've seen this over time of them having, by them I mean the Israelis specifically and their allies, seemingly to have outsized influence that is difficult for people who aren't conspiratorial to be able to push back on. And it's been a difficult thing as somebody with a Jewish last name, as somebody who is raising a kid with that same last name in this country and noticing how the trends are pushing.
Perlman
One thing
Jewish?
that has really struck me, and a thing that happened to me actually in 2024, was some people pushed some conspiracy theories about me. And one of the things they said was that me using the handle Pearlmania 500 was to hide the fact that I have a Jewish name. That I'm hiding my last name Perlman. And people bit onto that because again, they don't understand the history. Number one, they didn't understand that the name Alex Perlman was actually fucking taken because Alex Perlman is both a boy and a girl's name. I'm not going to go by Alexander. But number two, and so we just use it to have the same handle.
You're fighting a war
everywhere.
on two fronts.
I am. But the other thing, though, is historically, Jews have changed their fucking name when it comes to entertainment. Jon Stewart's real name is John Leibowitz. Is he hiding the fact that he's Jewish from you, or is it because of the way trademarks worked? Or because
I've seen plenty of right-wing commentators say so. They're like,
but there's this whole thing. There's people out there who go, I'm noticing stuff. There are certain things that have happened, and then the Israelis specifically lean into it because that way that's their projection of soft power. Instead of before, the U.S. projection of soft power has always been culture, aid, the view of our military, the view of freedom, the view of what you could do here. That's been the American soft power. The Israeli soft power has been, hey, just so you know, maybe we're in your pagers. Like to the point now where people believe that Charlie Kirk was actually murdered by the Israelis because they used the fact that the Israelis blew up all those the Hezbollah pagers, right? And they say that this is a big conspiracy that Candace is pushing, that it was the mic clip. Like I see it everywhere. And when you sit in these spaces, yeah, we can spend all day debunking that, or you just hope that is just a thing that is going to go away.
Islam.
But most of the time, it just gets logged in the back of people's heads as this is a thing, and then the algorithm never shows them a debunking of it. They never see the other side of it. In the case of Charlie Kirk and this specific thing, you end up with another weird thing that happens. What happens? Turning Point USA, Benny Johnson, and all these other fucking idiots. They run out and go, we all saw it in 4K. There's a video of Tyler Robinson. They played it in the court. You can't see it, though. And now we have to sit around and go, is this going to be like the Epstein binder again? Which plays into it more. And so we end up in this weird fucking space where there legitimately are conspiracies. There are legitimately things of influence that are being done by a foreign government inside of the United States and pushes when it comes to our elections, because the United States military and our purse is being used to prop up that said foreign government. That foreign government conflates with a religion. We have the largest population of the religion of that country inside of our own country. Mm-hmm. The people who are here who have a connection in that, we are also pushing back on it and then being called fake Jews for doing it. There are so many layers, and it's so fucking complicated. But the thing I always come back to is the lesson
Defeat
that we have in the
Diabolos.
split of the diaspora. There is a split in the Jewish diaspora after the Holocaust. We've all said never again, but that statement means two things to two different groups. One group hears never again for anyone, that all genocide is bad, that we should not have a factory destruction of cultures, and the other one hears never again specifically for Jews. And that is the split. To me, I believe in all boats. I believe if we say never again for anyone, then that will also protect people with the similar last name to me. Other people don't believe that. Other people don't believe in the safety in that, because it historically comes down to the belief of that red button, blue button shit. But the views of liberalism versus conservatism, the views of the left versus the right. I believe in all boats rising leads to safety. They believe if all boats rise, they'll get shoved off first. That's where we are.
So, Alex, one of the final things that I want to come down on is...
I think come up on, because after that last segment, we were down. We're going to come up on.
Well,
All right.
no, it's like this podcast is a lot of different things.
Yeah, and I did crash out a little bit there, and I feel like I did it in the right way.
Crashed
All right,
out a little bit.
What do we got?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Netflix. It starts with, I think, that there's this belief that like no one's just watching things through anymore. And that's because you have this Bloomberg report that came from early July that found that Netflix, their biggest hits, they lose 30 to 70% of their audience by season 2, like in the first 4 weeks of release. And it is a trend that the company is calling a major source of concern, and they're studying. And this, some of the things that we're seeing, Beef is apparently down 70%, which is wild because season 2, I'm still in the middle of it, but it is very good. The Last Airbender, it's down 60% in week 1. Didn't watch that one. Night Agent down 50%. Maybe, I don't know, run a fucking ad. Because I watched the previous season, was okay. And then for season 3, it was actually down another 35%. A Man on the Inside down 66%. And then it just kind of continues.
I'm looking at the list that producer Ben put together. First thing, I've never heard of Beef. Avatar: The Last Airbender, I've never heard of Beef. We just got Netflix again, like very recently. I actually had beef with Netflix when they did the bullshit with the password sharing. Remember that shit, Phil? Yeah, I mean, you've lived in a world where you can afford the password. My little sister worked really, really hard to give me and loan me her password. And then one day they were like, no. And so I went, fuck you. And I thought a lot of us would, and more people actually ended up signing up for Netflix. Knock on wood. Luckily, that hasn't been an issue for some of the other platforms. I'm actually surprised how it hasn't worked out for some of the other platforms, but I'm wondering if it's because of size. But looking at this list, the only reason I know about Avatar: The Last Airbender is because I watched the cartoon.
Sure.
I think I've heard of One Piece is a cartoon. It's a remake. And Bridgerton, because women get horny too. Everything else listed here, Beef, The Night Agent, Running Point, The Four Seasons, A Man on the Inside, A Girl's Guide to Murder, Only His and Her. I've never heard of these. These don't exist to me. And this is one of the things though, and I'm wondering.
We have a little bit. I was like the Four Seasons is really good. Beef's really good. Can't speak to the Last Airbender one. Yeah, and One Piece.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's a live action.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying Avatar: The Last Airbender. I know that that's a live action because I see people complain about it. That's the thing, is like, I only hear about shit if it's a remake of a cartoon, so people are bitching they didn't do a shot-for-shot remake that is, what is it, 6 to 10 episodes long of a season that was 22? Like, this is where we end up in constantly. And I think, real fast, I think you mentioned it. You said The Night Agent, advertise it. You didn't even know it was back. This is an issue I'm running into constantly. Number one, if you are paying to not have ads, you're not seeing ads on anything. But before, on classic television, when you were watching it where you had TV and you had ads, there were constant ones that were telling you, if you were watching a channel, hey, you're watching Friends, might want to check out Frasier. Like, there was a thing in there. There were blocks of time. And it created also a buzz in real life. I haven't had Netflix in so long that nobody talks to me about Netflix. I've had Disney Plus, so I have friends of mine who are like, oh, the new X-Men's back on, X-Men 97's back. So I have a couple buddy of mine who were like, we're all big X-Men fans. So we've been messaging each other about that. But that's like the specific. It's so drilled in.
I think that there's a few
Man,
things
X-Men is so fucking good.
at play. I mean, one regarding specifically Netflix, I've heard of stories where people did their own advertising campaigns for their shows in the first week of release so that it could hit trending and that they felt like the show had some push and support and in hopes of it leading to bigger and better things, whether it be season 2 or just that Netflix movie doing well. But I feel vindicated to a certain degree, and I'm not claiming a full victory on this. I do think that part of this comes down to the packaging. I am someone that used to love binging. I will still binge. But if you were talking about the success of a show, I think that a weekly release schedule is often more connected to successful shows that have kind of longer season lifespans, in the sense of like you're getting a season 2, a season 3, a season 4. Some of the examples include The Pitt on HBO Max. Season 2 viewership for that one did the opposite of a Netflix series. It went 50% higher, right? Severance, another thing, weekly releases. The season 2 finale saw a 29% increase over the previous season. As much as we crave getting everything all at once, right? Fucking gobbling it all up. Having a longer window of something being released allows it to be talked about more. It allows some sort of anticipation in an age where we get instant gratification of everything. It stands out because it is not the most convenient, which is such a weird thing. Like, if for the success of shows, this is like I said something like a year ago. For the success of shows, I think more shows should release at a weekly most of the time, or like if you launch a new season, do that thing where you do 2 or 3 episodes and then go to weekly. But and I think that's more important if we want to continue getting these shows. But that's
I need to watch Airbender.
No, it was a good rant. It was a good rant. We're working you up. We're working you up. We're going to get you screaming. We're going to get you yelling, maybe cursing a little in the future. But I think no, you're correct. You are correct. The other thing that's killing them is the fact they're taking like fucking 2 to 3 years between seasons.
That
and
is
like,
the
especially when I
worst.
looked at something like Stranger Things. Those kids by the end are like 27 years old. Bobby Brown got a new face.
It kills.
Like, what are we doing here?
It kills me when a season starts and I'm like, I literally don't remember what happened.
I gotta watch it. Not only do I have to watch a recap, I have to go on YouTube and go to Screen Rant or whatever. Like, here's a 39-minute video to catch up on everything you might have forgotten, and even some loose threads they might pick up, and then they don't because it has a whole new cast or a whole new writer's room, and half of it's AI now. The Netflix, to me, Netflix has destroyed a lot of these, the entire industry. I've been thinking about it a lot. A lot of tech for a long time. I think a lot of people forget. They spent basically the entire Obama years going, we're disruptors. We're disruptors. Okay, well, everything's disrupted, so nobody has peace. We used to have
can't
Adam
I look
Conover,
out here?
You mentioned a couple of things here. Adam Conover just did on one of his shows talking about, I saw the clip of it, how we used to have sitcom factories. We knew exactly how to make sitcoms. We knew how to pump them out. There was a whole way to make these, and now we can't do it anymore because they destroyed the infrastructure of it by cutting them under. The other thing, though, is he's the one who I found out about. Adam Conover, when he had his show that I think Obama produced, he did a very big social media push, and he was like, we need this show to do very well in the first week. And I know a lot of stand-up comics as well who have a Hulu special come out or a Netflix special. They're like, I need to get this in the top 10 or else they won't come back. Which is, if you're wondering, if you're turning into Netflix and you're like, why is Tony Hinchcliffe, Tom Segura, and these other fucking Bert Kreischer, why is this chud bullshit happening? I'll tell you why. Because they have their own advertising space. They have their own podcast networks. They go on the same 12 podcasts that this locked-in group of about 20% of the American male population watches, and then forces their girlfriend, who should leave them, to watch. Like, that is where we are, like, over and over and over again. I mean, good for Christina, man. She's getting out of it. But the rest of them, this is where we are constantly with it. Netflix, the same way YouTube does, the same way TikTok does, the same way all of them do. They care more about retention and specific viewer inputs over everything else. Yet they drive people insane with analytics that didn't used to matter. It used to be, are people watching it? Are they enjoying it? Are they maybe buying products that have been seen on it? Those were the three analytics. Now what do we have to worry about? We have to worry about retention. We have to worry about click-through rates. Is the thumbnail right? There are things that are outside of our purview that might not happen. And then we have to wait till 10 years from now. Somebody on TikTok or on Instagram happens to do the right hype edit that sends people down an area to go see it. I just started watching the show. Actually, we just finished the first season of Widow's Bay on Apple TV. Number one,
so
like
good.
all Apple shows, didn't know it fucking existed. Number two, halfway through, I saw a clip. I was watching it, and I go, oh my God, I've seen a clip of this.
And they've been
It's so good.
I will say
Widow's
they've been
Bay
getting
is-
better, and I feel like Apple TV used to be kind of slept on, and they have so many bangers. They were kind of just also a winner for people that were into sci-fi, because you're like, okay, well, they'll at least to like the conversation that we're having, like on Netflix or a number of these streamers, you don't know if shit's going to continue. Whereas I feel like there was like a genuine thought process and investment, and we're going to do some cool sci-fi. We're gonna follow it through. But I think also what we're seeing with Netflix is, I don't know if they are going to be more inclined to doing weekly releases of their TV shows, but it does look like one of the ways that they are trying to lure people back in with
Widow's Bay
episodic
is so
content that
fucking
is
good.
released weekly, if not at least some sort of range like that, is this podcast adoption stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And so we initially started seeing that with the Ringer podcast network, I think, is one of the first ones they announced. So it was like, okay, they got some sports and culture and lifestyle and some true crime. And then we got the news recently that it's a deal that's worth up to $100 million. I don't know where the fuck that number has actually come from. But it was like Netflix and Spotify acquire video rights to Jay Shetty's On Purpose podcast, which is insane. I think that a lot of that has to probably be connected to the PR around that show and the specific positioning of like it being a mental health podcast, and it getting like 500,000 on Spotify. Its YouTube numbers are okay. But even Good Mythical Morning, right? Some YouTube OGs with Rhett and Link, they announced that their show is also going to be on Netflix. Now, unlike Jay Shetty's, from my understanding, it's just going to be the same show. Jay Shetty's is like, he's doing clips on YouTube and then doing full show on Spotify and Netflix, which I think is
Really?
actually,
GMM is going to be on Netflix.
I feel like maybe more creators are going to do this, because YouTube's algorithm change in the last 2 months, and then also one they did in February, it really penalizes content that
Fuck you.
covers a number of different topics in the same video. It really does thrive on specific niche isn't necessarily the right word, but very specific. Like, this video is this one thing, and you can expand on it a little bit, but it can't be other things. And we might see more creators do it, because these other platforms, I mean, I can speak to Spotify, pay so much better before you start considering viewership or sponsors. I was talking to you about RRPM. Spotify dwarfs.
Yeah,
like,
well, and part
YouTube.
of that, and part of that too is also because of the nature of OG podcasting. So the audio only podcasts are violently different than the video. Video, just so you guys know, if you're watching this on YouTube, video pays worse. But also on the audio side, people are.
We have
would
higher
say,
finish rates over there. Like that, it's an ecosystem
Well, because
thing too.
It's also a thing of a lot of people second screen, which is what Netflix is also why most Netflix shows suck. It's why you hit. Just so you guys know, when you're watching Netflix, and if you were actually actively watching, if you put your phone down or you lock your phone away and you hide your Nintendo Switch,
I am
and you
second
put down the
screening.
knitting needles, and you actually watch your show, you will hear somebody go, "The problem is behind that door." Which door? That door right over there. That's where the problem is. I'm going to go through that door and attack the problem. Are you going to go through the door and attack the problem? Yes, I'm going to go through the door and attack the problem, because people are
A
so
second screen.
doing. They have that on. I think more people spend time scrolling
I'm doing
the
it
menu
now.
than they do actually watching things. When it comes to audio,
To be
podcasts,
fair.
which is where I started, which I loved. I love Mrs. P and I on our Patreon. We still do an audio only podcast over there. It's called the After Party, where we react to Too Many Tabs comments in the comment section. I love it when the camera's not on. Because Phil, half the time I don't know what you're doing when we're recording these things. We do this on Riverside.
Yeah.
When we're staring at each other. Sometimes when I'm talking to talk to you directly, the listener, the viewer, to Phil DeFranco on the other side, I have to look directly at my own reflection. I am just talking to my fucking self. Because where I'm pointing right now, where I'm looking, that is me.
Oh, you don't have
You
wait.
are over there.
I'm on a different fucking. I mean, because I'm looking.
No,
at
you're
here.
on the same plane. No, I have one monitor in front of me, but I'm just saying though in general. And so because of this, I'm also now hyper aware, just like a Zoom call. I'm hyper aware of. So I'm watching me, so somebody else is watching me. Oh, the way I said that, will that be thought of differently? Versus when I'm sitting over here in the corner just yapping in the thing. I mean, that's the reason why Mark Maron never put video on the WTF pod, the granddaddy of them all, WTF podcast. He was like, the second you turn a camera on, it's very different.
Yep.
But going back into
For sure.
these different ones, Netflix, if you do want us to
Streaming no cam and streaming cam,
I'll take back
completely
everything
fucking
I said.
different.
Everybody knows my number.
Not that.
12.5 million.
I mean, if I were to play
I
Mario and
know
I
you
had
got it,
people in
'cause
here,
I'm paying fucking $30 a month,
it,
and
it
I have
would be
ads
also
run
different.
during
but
fucking Corey
I'm just
Carson.
screwing around
I feel
so
like
nobody's
Corey
here.
Carson.
I feel like a scorned lover with YouTube at this point. It's just been like change
Have you
after
called
change.
them, Phil? Phil, have you called them? Have you called
People
them?
come in and then they
So
go
that I
out
can
and like,
have,
oh,
some
what is he doing?
inconclusive,
hanging out
wishy-washy
now.
response, and also get like gaslit by someone that doesn't actually deal with the algorithm themselves.
Yeah.
No, I mean, hey, not a horrible thing to just throw out there, because some of the numbers, it makes me realize that I often sell myself short. Like, because I think I'm still always thinking of myself as just like, just a random stupid fucking guy that lucked into his position, and I try my best and I do a decent job. Like, I always give myself like a B+ most of the time. But then I look at when
I
really dive
also
into the
give
numbers, I'm
myself
like,
a B+.
man,
Sometimes
I
an
need some of
A
these
if
fucking
I'm
salespeople. If any
at
of the
my
deals
job,
are
if I'm
reportedly,
doing
like, around-
particularly
seeing,
well.
Seeing the news, what
My
was it, the
Star
other week that broke,
Tours
where it was
and
like Piers Morgan's completed a $27 million raise for his
Professoring.
growing YouTube empire. And it's at, I think, an evaluation that was said to be $145 million. And you look at the numbers,
those are
and I'm
bullshit
like,
numbers.
I was like, do I run a 150 to $250 million empire right now? And I just haven't realized it because I haven't had someone just batshit crazy like throwing Philip DeFranco's name out there. Like, is that,
I mean, part of it is one thing people have been talking about with YouTube is, in particular, is private equity has been buying up some of these channels, and which has happened off and on for like 20 years.
Anyone want to buy my channel?
Some of the channel issues that people had years and years ago. There's that.
I wouldn't
but then
sell
the
it.
secondary part of it is, a lot of
I
valuations
enjoy
are
this
bullshit.
too much, even though
They're
nobody's here.
bullshit at a lot
I
of
know,
these
and that's
things.
why I think we
Just
we gotta have like
outlet for me.
Are you saying we need to get a guy?
Cathartic.
No, we gotta have like Silicon Valley, batshit crazy, we're the kings of the world mindset, rather than being like
then
regular
less people would
dudes.
watch. No, exactly. Then less people would watch.
We just fake it for the camera.
I can't, Phil. Phil,
we
I'm
do
legitimately.
what the Two Bears podcast did, but in
okay.
reverse.
All right, I'm not. Cut that line. Jesus Christ.
What's that, Alex? Yeah, I think that is a great place to end the show.
I think it is. Like, subscribe, comment, follow us everywhere. CrashingOutTour.com to see us live, where I can't pull back lines like that.
Take this man's microphone away. We've got to talk about how you have this mom who's blaming vaccines for it.
It should have been me, not her. What is
Stop
this?
what you're doing. We've got an emergency afoot.
Okay.
What's luckier than winning the lottery? Getting a license plate that has the word ass in it. That's right. And this gift was bestowed upon a 70-year-old woman who I feel at first didn't really appreciate it, but began slowly to warm up to it.
The top at 5:30, a Pompano Beach woman is trying to unravel the mystery behind a racy license plate.
And there you see her holding it up. She was sent this when she
Squeeze
renewed her
ass.
tag.
It should
Hell
have been
yeah.
me. Not her. Squeeze ass. Now, she was wearing a pretty wacky shirt there for the interview that said that she is right now the oldest that she ever has been. So, it feels pretty lighthearted, but when she first received this license plate, it seemed more disappointed than anything. Disappointed, confused,
That's crazy.
maybe even slightly appalled even.
What?
When really the initial response should have been jubilation. To get
it's an
that
amazing license plate.
Squeeze ass is a very rare thing indeed.
And I didn't know I was getting a plate.
When Nancy Dell'Ostrito went to collect her mail, she got quite the surprise, a new license plate with her vehicle registration renewal.
And I looked at it, and I said, I don't think so.
The plate reads SQZ-A55, but from a distance, those 55s can be read as S's. Well, you get the picture.
You bet your sweet bippy I get the picture. Who doesn't love a little bit of squeezing ass, little honking on the cheeks? It's a universally appreciated activity. And to be able to proudly display that on your vehicle daily, my goodness, the heavens smiled upon you. I can't fathom getting such a immaculate gift from Santa's workshop and then saying, I don't think so. I was disappointed to see her express that.
Squeeze blank.
I don't think a woman that lives in a senior community that's going to be 77 years old next month
Come
will be driving
on.
around with what this plate has to say.
But why not? It has something wonderful to say. Let it preach the gospel. Let it sing. Squeeze ass. Now, if this was on purpose, like if you had sent in to have the squeeze ass tag put on there, then it teeters into being a bit cringe. Like I see a few custom plates on the road here and there that are just kind of lame. One of them I saw said Riz. Like that kind of shit is just boo. That's lame. But when you are going on 77 years old and you receive from old Uncle Sam a license plate that unintentionally says squeeze ass, that's amazing. And I'm sure everyone in the retirement center would appreciate the messaging. It's lighthearted, it's wholesome, and it'd be a cool little piece of your identity. Like, oh, there goes Nancy again, I can tell, because it says squeeze ass on her vehicle. I think that's fun. I think that's nice.
The plates become the talk around her retirement community, especially the men. We were with her when she showed it to one of her 89-year-old neighbors.
And this is what I received from the DMV for my new license plate. That's good for 10 years. Good.
Florida license plates have been made at a state prison in North Florida for almost a century. Then they're funneled through the county agencies.
The prisoner who whipped that one up put an extra dollop of love in there. Squeeze ass made it through the system here and right into the lap of Nancy, and it was the talk of the town there in the retirement community there. You could even see that guy saying, good. That's right, that's great, Nancy. Like, that's such a wonderful license plate to have. So many would cherish that, and I do think eventually she warmed up to the idea by the end of the interview here, which is nice to see, but I'm just kind of surprised that the initial reaction wasn't like a smile and maybe even a slight like one of these. Celebrate.
Yeah. Nancy's plate was mailed from the Broward Property Tax Collector's office. We went there to try to help her get some answers. It's a question about a tag, if you want to replace a tag. And while no one wanted to talk on camera, we were told anyone unhappy with a plate can turn it in for another one for free.
I'm kind of resigning to it.
I really can't help but wonder why this is even a news story. You know what I mean? Why the fuck would they even bother, like, investigating this? They went to the office to get information on something they could have looked up on Google in 3 seconds on how to replace a tag that you don't want, or if it's faulty or something wrong with it or whatever. But boots on the ground is appreciated, I suppose. So they march in there, cameras on, asking about ye old squeeze ass plate. What can be done about this? And they're just telling them, like, yeah, I mean, we can replace it for free if you don't like it or something. If you're not like a fan of buttocks, if you're not a fan of firmly grasping tuchus, we can do something about it.
Who isn't a fan?
But
come on now.
Nancy comes around to it. She said she's kind of resigning herself to it now. I think she's starting to see the light there. and what this can bring to the community and
Ow.
how much fun it can be to have such a whimsical tag.
I was going to say whimsical.
And I figured maybe it was just destined to be on my car.
So for now, Nancy's keeping the tag,
Hey.
although she is planning to let the state
We leveled
know about
up.
it. She'll see the reaction when she goes public with her new plate.
I can handle it if I get a few honks here and there. Actually, being over 70, I might like a few honks.
There it is.
Now, full disclosure, Nancy is mother to one of our company managers. Well,
So there's the answer. It turns out Nancy is the mother to one of the company's managers, so I'm assuming it went like this. It's a slow news day. What do we got going on? Well, I mean, my mom gave me a call. She got a cool license plate that says squeeze ass. Perfect. We'll be out there this afternoon to get the scoop. There's something kind of oddly sweet about that, to be honest. Like, it seems like Nancy appreciated the coverage, and as she said, you know what? Maybe it was just destiny. Maybe this is like, Batman, encountering bats for the first time.
I'll be right back. Okay. One second. Stopped it. Why did it stop it? Okay. See what else we got going on here. Anything good? I don't want to watch that one, but I kind of want to play some. What do we want to do? We want to play Black Flag? I feel like we should because I got something special coming tomorrow. Bitch. Blue AC. I got something very special coming for this weekend. Maybe even tomorrow. Start on it. Black Flag. I don't care. Put on the go. $17.15. Hey. Have a reward? Flame. 200. Okay. Where are we going? What are we doing here? Bara? I guess we're going that way.
Give me more sail.
Speed, lads!
Who's tops and royals?
All right, lads. Where am I to go? Me, Tony, where am I to go? Away, hey, hey, I roll and go. Oh, where am I to go? Me, Tony, where am I to go? For I'm a young sailor boy, and where am I to go? Oh, way up on that gallant tide, that's where you're bound to go. Way, hey, hey, I roll and go.
Gallant! Royal! Furl! Be still, lads.
Right. What are we doing here?
Captain Salt in himself.
Might have left something behind.
Okay. We got over here. Oh yeah, we just did the plantation thing.
Here's to our pirate republic, lads. We're prosperous and free and out the reach of kings, clergy, and debt collectors.
Near 500 men now pledge their allegiance to the Brethren of the Coast in Nassau. Not a bad number.
Truth. Yet we lack sturdy defenses. If the king were to attack the town, he'd trample us.
Then let us find the observatory. If it does what these Templars claim, we'll be unbeatable.
Not that twaddle again, can we? It's a story for schoolboys.
Don't think it is.
I mean, proper defenses. Steal a galleon, shift all the guns to one side. Would make a nice ornament for one of our harbors.
It will not be easy to steal a full Spanish galleon. Have you one in mind?
I do, sir. And I'll show you. She's a fussock, she is. Fat and slow.
A fussock.
Captain, we've installed a furnace below deck and fortified the cannons for heated shot. It's deadly up close. The new shot won't travel far, so we'll still need to keep a good stock of round shot for normal range.
Fine work, Quartermaster. We are new to these
go.
cannons. I'd like to prove them first.
Heated shots. Change mode while aiming.
That metal's some fine work.
Oh, let's see.
Fire! Good form. It looks like we have it.
Let's find this galleon.
These new guns will melt flesh right off the bone.
Alright, come on.
Your jackdaw handles nice. Pinched her from the Spanish, was it?
Aye. In the midst of a hurricane.
Just before the treasure fleet was smashed against the shore.
Was the haul aboard as rich
Can't
as men
use
are
travel
saying?
sales and
1,000 times
storms on.
that. I reckon
A little
£1
far
million
away.
worth of reals was sunk that day.
Devil love the hurricane. We have a dive there one day. See what we can rummage up.
Diving them wrecks would be a nice change of pace for us. No need for violent actions against merchants and such.
Wow. That's some soft talk coming from a pirate. And as it happens, I mostly agree. We'll save the clashing of cutlasses for the military. And them that get in our way.
Got some big waves coming. Big swells about. Eleuthera?
Easy as she goes. No telling what you may find out here.
Like staring through a waterfall.
Don't soil your breeches, lads. I got this.
Oh yeah, we do. Okay. Bit of choppy waters for sure. I don't see no target.
That ship's a monster. Look at the size of her.
Aye.
Okay.
And we'd not last long face to face with her. Hear that, Kenway? Keep your distance. We'll strike when fortune favors us.
Under cover of darkness, most likely.
Aye, it may come to that.
I've never seen a ship with so many guns.
And you won't again, quartermaster, not in these parts.
The big old boy.
She'll shore up Nassau's defenses nicely. Make the king's men.
For a girl, I guess. That's for girls. Big girl.
We'd best stay back from range of those guns.
Aye, that's more firepower than we're used to.
Adventures, Thatch, but this one.
So we just have to follow it?
That's puppy talk, Kenway. She's a dangerous ship. That's why we want her.
Easy does it, Captain. This is a fish. We have to pull in slowly.
Listen to your quartermaster, Kenway. He's thinking all right.
Trim as near the wind as you dare.
Aloft, lads! Check those royals!
Oh, I know about galleons from Sea of Thieves. Oh shit. Alright.
Reef main, scows topsail.
Throw the mizzen tops!
Charles Vane. As reckless as they come.
Yeah.
An old friend of yours.
A lot of
Not a
firepower.
man I'd call a friend. But we've been doing this kind of work for so long, I can't help but respect the man.
That's a lot.
Charles Vane, slinking off with his tail between his legs. That's good news for us. Bleeding bastards! We'll have to deal with this skirmish fast. Forget the galleon, and send these interlopers to hell!
As much sail as you can.
Oh shit. Not great, not great, not the best.
royals!
That one's done. That one's done. That one's done. Okay. Not bad. I don't think.
She's sailing for that island.
I know the place. A natural stronghold used by a French captain named Ducasse.
Julian Ducasse, the Templar.
Name's right. Didn't know he had a title.
I know the man. And if he sees my ship, he'll know it from his time in Havana, meaning he may wonder at who's sailing her now. I can't risk that.
And I don't want to lose that galleon. Let's think on it. And maybe wait till it's dark before hopping aboard.
Unlock the secondary firing mode on a jackdaw weapon. Okay.
Catch me some wind.
Okay. We're heading over here.
Shanty! You best have quiet a while. Calm her down. Ease the mains off the wind. Loose all sail.
See if we can get rid of our wanted level. Don't know if that's gonna be possible.
Lovely on the foreyard, she's lovely down below, boys. She's lovely cause she loves me, that's all I want to know. Set her back. Oh, Captain Baker, how do you store your cargo?
We'll see.
Some might stow forward and some might
Set for debarking!
I sure
You heard the captain! Move!
Marijuana Island.
A slaughterhouse.
I don't think there is what I want.
give me some speed!
Yeah, they're trying to get me. This is not what we want. Probably want to go Longshi to stuff. Damn. Can we go back to Nassau?
Give everything she's got.
It's pretty far away, but really don't want to.
Faster now!
That's a really, really long way away, but I think I do want to go back there. Unless there is a place closer. Don't think. Sorry. I've been in my way. I didn't kill him. Fine. Fine. You're fine. Okay. They're on our tail. About. I didn't hear that.
Ease her off!
Okay, we're getting there, we're getting there.
Fast as you dare!
Give voice, you tars!
Hey! We'll heave him up and away we'll go. Baby Susie, we'll heave him up
I wonder if that would be a good place to go. Is that the Cat's Island?
Haul up the royals! Reef the foremans! Crowd it on, all of it! Loose all! Party like! Their wares are ripe for the picking again. We're sailing large now! Aye, aye, sir!
Okay. I don't know if this is gonna have anything for
Enough!
us.
Thanks!
So there's like chests and song sheets that
Use no purpose here, lads.
Prepare to bleed! I'll turn you off!
how do I? How do I do my vision? Done exactly what I wanted, but
what?
nothing happened. We're fine. Okay, let's go and get this I didn't get the double assassination. What? Lame. So it's I understand things sometimes. Probably should have done that my first time here, but nobody's over here. Oh, what you're talking about? Okay, there's a chest over here somewhere. Need key. Do you really though? I feel like
I've got to find that key holder.
okay. How do I do? That? Oh, it is. Why is he far away? I guess I could have pickpocketed him. Then what would the fun of that be? My buds. Okay. 29 rum barrels, preserved map piece. I guess we can trying to get rid of my wanted status, but
I have done nothing. What in damnation is going on? I'll enjoy it. I have done.
dude, I don't have any beef with any of y'all. Dante wheel. Wayme Suziana.
Give us a song, lads.
Fire!
No use wallowing about here.
Stunzels, let's ride this squall! Speed, lads!
I didn't get the song thing.
Up socks, you cocks, and turn to blood. Wavy to the and go below to your old ditty box. Oh, rock and shake, one more drag. Wavy to the oh, bend your guns and back your
Wood,
bag.
sugar.
Ease up. Give everything she's got.
Oh, Rogue Wind does not want me going that way.
Hey boys! Oh, oh, just hear the old man say goodbye, very well, goodbye, very well. Oh, don't just hear the old man say goodbye, boys. Calm her down. We're homeward to Liverpool town. Goodbye, very well, goodbye, very well. We're all of them beauties, they will come down. Goodbye, boys.
Nearly there.
Faster now! Set her back!
Let's go.
Drop anchor!
Tavern viewpoints. We got some song sheet. We got all kinds of shit to do here. But really,
Is this it then? The prosperous and free city of Nassau, made and maintained by men of vision. Why, I carry coin enough on my person to buy this whole hovel and all the animals that wallow in it.
Coin, eh? Perhaps I should give our visitor a real Nassau welcome.
Hi! You can't do that!
I can do whatever the
Dig up
fuck I
crumbs
want.
from the dirt and proclaim it a feast.
Would you see me tending a farm? I'm city bred, I'm afraid.
I need to get to that,
Hey!
There's them that say Nassau weren't the first free republic. There was another near Ilga St. Laurent on the Island.
Now look at the state of this place. What's more ragged, the tentage or the people?
yeah. I'm a planetarium director of one of the largest planetariums in Texas.
Except cleaner and richer.
My field of study is in exoplanets. I don't know what I went to school for.
Delights exist in this domain of the destitute.
It's not. I'm pretty stupid and everything else. How's it going? I know music, I know math, and I know physics and astronomy, and that's about it.
On and on he talked about a cursed bubble he found. Oh, I loved it, man, but Henry sees shadows when none
How's it
exist.
going?
Well, just because you can't see them doesn't mean they ain't there. I warned him about that trinket, but he said praying could cure it.
He's probably at church now, wringing his hands in prayer. Don't tell me you really that bilge water.
Cool, awesome. I mean, it's better than shitty, right?
My prayer has washed it
What
off
are you up to?
I can feel it. You are mine.
I do stupid shit all the time. What the hell is that? It's the music running away from me. I've never played this game. This is my first time playing this game. Hey, Drunken Sailor! Fuck yeah, let's go. That's the one I wanted. The best song. Best versions by Rapalja. Hey, who do I bribe around? I know I can like bribe people, but I don't know exactly. Oh, there's a new shame. General store, harbor master. Lower wanted level, that's what I want. That's like the whole fucking reason I came here. But yeah, been pretty slow. Both in work and on stream. Fine though. Do this for fun. Daylight, you're a musician of them.
Ahoy, Captain. Need to go underground?
100 monies? I think I got
Lovely.
that.
I'll make sure they forget you, friend.
Kiwi right here, saxophone player. I've got my keytar behind me. Dozens of guitars around this room. Oh yeah? What kind of music are you into? Or like what do you wanna do? I've got a Bandcamp or SoundCloud. SoundCloud, not Bandcamp. Or is it a Band? I haven't made anything in a long while. When I get really drunk on stream, I'll just like improv to Ari at home. Something. My saxophone. Maybe this weekend. I did last night. I got pretty sauce last night. Oh yeah, synthwave stuff? Like talking like maybe not synthwave, but like dark wave stuff, like Perturbator kind of shit. Perturbator, Carpenter Brood, all that kind of stuff. the metal of synthwave. Go over here. Dayglow, haven't heard of them. Check them out. Always looking for new. Big synthwave guy myself, and prog metal and stuff. Stuff that's interesting to listen to. I used to be a real big metalhead in high school and stuff, but it got old, got boring. Then like Opeth came around and they went into prog, and I was like, oh, this is actually like interesting musically to me. And then I found Arion. So Arion, Opeth, and The Midnight are my top 3 bands. I couldn't pick one. How the do I get up? Okay, I'm stupid. Oh no, wait. Oh, here we go. Fine. Good. Okay, I don't know what that's gonna get me. Now I guess I'll head back down to the main area. Double falcon jump. We saw that.
Now you die! How dare you!
Through the red coats, man.
You're done for, mate! I'll take that out of your eye!
I gotta give them respect. They see their brethren fall, they still keep fighting. Gotta respect them. Oh, he nearly got me. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Get the bastard! Taking my best shot.
Oh, we want to do this? We want to...
Oh, that was nice.
Is that a good shot? I don't know. I don't know what this chain thing is. Oh, people. Gotta release them. Articles of Agreement for the survival of all pirates. Right. Cool. And I get a chest. What did I get? For Trumanus Portrait of Today. Have you played Half-Life? Oh yeah, I love Half-Life. I played Half-Life and Project Mesa probably like 6 months ago again for the first time in forever. I played like through all the Half-Life, all the Valve games. Like Half-Life and Portal any. Yeah. Love me some Half-Life. Not Project Mesa, Black Mesa. I love Black Mesa. I played through both of them. I played through the OG and then Black Mesa. I really like Black Mesa for what they did. I was
Listen,
super
Sergeant,
impressed.
You wouldn't happen to have seen a rope. Oh, Lord, not now. Your fate is sealed.
Oh, you got a red. Oh, he knows how to fight a little bit. Okay. Oh, guess what? I know how to fight too. I know how to fight too. Oh, he had a warehouse key. I did not know that. I guess it's a warehouse. See if we can take him down quiet-like. Oh, I didn't get the double? Come on, man. He was going for the bell. He was going for the bell. Fair enough. And we got the stuff. Okay, not bad. I did not mean to do that, but you know, I'm gonna take it anyway. Okay, they're on to me. I gotta get out of here. Oh, I gotta get out of here. I don't have any, like, healing.
Please, nothing, don't tell me.
Shit, I don't know where my ship is. I'm like way on the other side. Oh, I am going the exact opposite way I need to go. Okay, fair enough. I need to turn around. I need to go back to my ship. Maybe I can get up there then. I'm already here. Go.
Words.
Okay, we're booking it. We're booking it. Cool little village though.
I'm not gonna wait around to see how this damn.
Handiwork on this one. What's the asking price? What? Unhand me. Keep your filthy
Nope,
balls to
got him.
yourself.
Or did I get him? I don't think I did. Maybe I did.
I've never done no wrong. Well, hardly. Oh God,
please, sir,
I've lost it easy any of this.
Okay, there we are. I have a special thing that I ordered today. It cost me like 250 bucks. But it is a warship version of the Assassin's Creed 4 ship that I'm going to put together this weekend. People seem to really like watching people build Legos. Like, I built the Harry Potter castle like a couple months back. This ship has nearly 4,000 pieces. It's like 3,800 pieces. It'll be the
Names
largest.
out. Trim to the wind.
The largest Like, it's not Lego, it's like some off-brand thing, but it's officially licensed.
Trim off! Bring in the stun sails!
It'll be here tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna do it tomorrow or wait till Friday. I'm not.
Give voice, you cars!
Okay. We're done with Nassau. We need to go back to the main quest. It's actually quite far away.
Just the one ship, Captain! Larboard! Captain, they're too strong! Gallants! Royals! Bring the top halyards! Pull! Loose all sail! I know she's a good sailor! Now prove it, my trunks!
What will we do with a drunken sailor? Heard I in the...
Yeah, drunken sailor, let's go. The best. Like, everyone knows drunken sailor. Cheers. That is a big-ass galleon. I am okay not angling with them. I needed to heal my ship. Fuck. Okay. That was a mistake on my part. But not great on my part. Should have healed my ship. Should have gone to the shipmaster.
Clew up foremast rig! Get the tops and royals down!
England, old Ireland, England, old Ireland, England, old Ireland, Ollie, Ollie, ho! Paddy McGinty, Paddy Jock and Jack.
Okay, then it'll be a little bit. 4,000 meters away.
Shamrock and Rose, boys. Shamrock, Rose and Thistle too. Shamrock and Rose, boys. Ollie, Ollie, ho! England, old Ireland, England, old Ireland.
Kind of makes me want to go back and replay Odyssey, but Odyssey will annihilate my soul. I love Odyssey. I don't know what it is about that game. It's so many hundreds of hours, though. Odyssey. Maybe it was Cassandra. I really like the story, and I like...
Speed, lads!
Oh, I got another crewmate. Cool. I like how they're like items. I'm pretty close. Have I been to this undiscovered location? By dropping. Maybe I can like heal my ship. Yeah, we're gonna see what's going on here. Crooked Island. It's pirate friendly, apparently.
Heave to, lads!
Okay, cool. New little area. And it's got a tavern. Gotta stop and get a drink. Hello, ladies. How are you today? We climb up here? No?
Game is.
Rum for all. Ooh, that's my favorite. I'm more of a vodka man, but have a drink.
Hey.
Bitch. Don't hey me. Trick her and Y to repeatedly shoot multiple enemies.
Make him bleed!
Oh, I died. I didn't have any healing stuff. I don't know. It's gonna revive me with. Okay, that's big L. That's pretty embarrassing on my part. There is one thing I want to do. Maybe I'll do it here in a minute. I did get the port of Twilight. I did definitely totally legally acquire the wrong. Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda. I want to see how it plays. Nearly 10 o'clock. I may. Let me do this, but
I've half a mind to leave
may
the
try
fleet.
that after I beat the assholes. To be fair, he did only say hey. I don't know if this is technically warranted. Take him down.
I got plenty more like that.
Uppercut. Ooh, ooh. Damn, let's go, baby. Is it like every time I go to a new tavern, I have to fight people to get a freaking drink? Tavern unlocked. Okay. That's funny.
Way I see it, if you would make your way, I was made this one of a certain golden opportunity.
That's dope. Free trader board lead convoy ship. What, it refreshes in like an hour? I already saw that though. That's not anything new. What else is here? Okay, lower wanted level, that's the Harbor Master. That's what I want. I want to heal my So I could have just gone here.
You require my services.
I do, my friend. I do. Oh. Maybe upgrade? Can I upgrade anything good? Currents? My sales? Oh, I've got the, I sprung for the I might as well, right? The whole. I mean, I'm not going to look awesome for the extra $10 I spent. Equip new cosmetics in each of the Jackdaw's van spots. Now let's see what I can actually. The mortar. The mortar allows the jackdaw to deal long-range damage. It only cost me 800. I have like 5,000. And then we have heavy shot. That only cost me 900. I mean, what good is the... It requires progress to unlock. So. Harpooning. We're not that far in the game. I'm like 3 or 4 hours in. Let's freaking go, baby. Looks so fucking good. I paid for it once. So what do we have in the shop? Maximum capacity on everything. I think I'm good.
Well concluded.
It's officially 10 o'clock.
Hey, have a care, drunkard.
Okay, we're gonna try and do at least this one. Okay, I did not want to do that. I keep doing that. I keep pressing right trigger to go forward because of racing games and stuff.
We are losing the wind, Captain.
Let's have a song then.
Oh, to me, Johnny Barker, come rock and roll me over. To me, Johnny Barker, do.
Give everything he's got.
Johnny Barker, the skipboat is a rover. To me, Johnny Barker, do. We're catching the wind now. Oh, to me, Johnny Barker, the mate is
The sails,
over.
you know, look pretty good. Hey, we got a new crewmate. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Johnny Barker, the bosun is a tailor. To me, Johnny.
So we're gonna have to sail around this island. It's on the other side of the...
Set her back. Faster now.
We'll all go on a jamboree. To me, Johnny Barker, do. Oh, to me,
See, what bothers me, especially like in this game, I really wish they had a realistic night sky, because it's how people navigated with stars. Like, it's not even that hard to get a realistic skybox. I really wish more, especially since this is set in like pseudo-historical times.
Let's have a different one.
And I miss playing Sea of Thieves so much. Sea of Thieves is so fucking fun. But it's not fun alone. You gotta play with people. And you gotta be a little bit wasted to play it. God, it's so fucking fun. Okay, I guess we're docking here and we're continuing the story.
Blew up the mains! Gentlemen, as is custom among our kind, we do not plunge headlong into folly on the orders of a single madman, but act according to our own collective madness. The object of our attention is a square-rigged galleon, and we want her for the advantage she'll bring Nassau. So I'll put it to the vote. All those in favor of storming this cove and taking this ship,
oh, yeah.
Stomp and shout aye! Aye! Those who oppose, whimper nay.
Oh, yeah.
Never was the King's Council so unified. Swing the jackdaw around to the cove's entrance. And make as big a show as you can.
Ooh, we have
Aye,
like
Captain.
ruins and shit. Okay. Are we just jumping off and going? I think we are. Cool. Man, Ubisoft, when they put their mind to shit, they can make good games.
Get up those shrouds, let's move!
This is a great game, but it's a game
Damn
that they
this
use.
wall.
Okay, we're doing some like Uncharted shit. Definitely feels Uncharted. Booted. Oh shit. On.
That was too bloody close.
Forward. Seems that people have already been here. Follow the road.
They shot him right in the head!
Ducasse hasn't lost any of his charm.
I don't even know what I did to him.
¿Qué ha sido eso? No está ahí. Vamos.
Cuando encontremos a esa rata, la voy a destripar.
Nada de eso. Ducasse quiere interrogar.
¡Se acabó lo bueno!
Right in the forehead. Not great. Would not recommend. Damn.
Shall I bring you to the manor then? Mr. Ducasse is in a full mood.
No, please. I've told you all I know.
If the runaway doesn't show. Huh?
So we got an axe boy. So we have no axe boy anymore.
La suerte no te salvará.
And now you're dead. I actually kind of, maybe like after I beat this, I might try my hand at Assassin's Creed Shadows. I do like the Assassin's Creed game. I've heard middling things on Shadows. I don't know if it's good or not. But also, I heard that Odyssey not great, and then I spent 500 fucking hours on it. I don't really trust anybody's or anything. Huh? But we'll see how I'm feeling. I want more Assassin's Creed. God damn, I really wanted to like Valhalla. I don't know if it was, I spent so much time on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I like tried to go right into Valhalla, and it just wasn't on. I don't know. Maybe I'll try Valhalla again. Walking out here. Be right under. Oh.
All right, Ducasse, let's see what you're hiding.
A nice looking manor there. Okay. Like, we really don't need games to look any better. Okay, we don't need a PlayStation 6 or an Xbox Helix or what. Like, this is fine. We're fine with this. At least I am. Nobody saw anything. Everybody's fine. All Gucci here.
Intentaba coger la espada. No tuve elección. Como digas. Todo ha sido muy rápido.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, but at that point, get a fucking... What I did. I bought a brand new PC last year, right before that RAM hike stuff came out. I'm really glad I did. I paid about $2,500 for. I was way overdue. I was running like a 9-year-old. Hopefully, I mean, AAA gaming is in a really bad state right now. PlayStation and Xbox, not great. I'm excited for Halo though. I mean, Rust. I bought the deluxe edition or whatever, so I'll be playing it on the 23rd. I'm a really big Halo guy, so I fuck it up. I hope they don't fuck it up. I don't know which way I came from. Okay, where are we going? This does not help me at all. I think this way. Gotta be. I think I got turned around somewhere. Okay, I think this is the intended way. Oh, okay. I did not know that we were gonna swing, and I think I fucked that up. Good for me. But glad I did that. hold A. It may look like I'm bad at video games, and I am, but I'm really good at Super. Try and do a speed run of Super Metroid every day. I got a PB the other day, 51 minutes, and I haven't gotten a PB in like 4 years. I was really excited about that. Pretty good at Metroid's like one of my favorites.
Las pistolas exóticas de Ducas han desaparecido y dicen que es culpa mía.
Caramba.
Yeah, you didn't see anything, clearly. Yeah, come here, come here. Oh yeah. I do Super Metroid and the original 6 Mega Man. Mega Man 1 is my least. Mega Man 3 is my favorite Mega Man. Like if I don't have anything else to do, I'll just play Mega Man. It was like the second game I ever played in my life. The first being Zelda 2. Ooh. Can we double? Can we double? Yeah, we got double here. Or incredibly unfair of this rounding. They have no idea. We're in the exploration phase. Oh, we have people that are about to be executed.
Lend us a hand, and we'll tell you what we know.
Gotta kill this axe guy first. He will make my life miserable. Okay, let's free the people.
Thank you. Dukas is a hard master.
Okay.
Not for much longer. Where can I find him?
By the docks. We can take him together.
Aye, I'll catch you up.
Okay. Where are we going? Green dot? He punched him in the head before he did. Wait, read what? What is this?
Ooh. Cuts as
Paintings
deep
I
as any
regret,
blade.
sculptures I despise, for none can reflect the beauty of mine eyes. Look in that glass and tell whose visage you see, alas, none are so quite handsome. Another shanty. Gotta get it. They run away from me. Whiskey Johnny, okay. What are we doing here? Oh. Okay, so that's
Are they feeding
the...
you well?
Wait, where are my people that I saved? I hear them fighting. I don't know where they are, though. Oh, they're down here already. Okay. I'm late to the party. The Axemen? Not great. Yeah, they will mess me up. I have already died from them. Okay. Alright, cool. Got one more. Two more. Oh, three more.
It's time to end Dukas.
Hell yeah, let's go. That guy. Oh, there's a lot of them over here.
You will bleed! Straight up bastard!
Damn, are they like infinitely spotting? Dive underwater to stay hidden from enemies? Why would I want to do that? That is a big ship. A large lady. Where is he? Says he's at the docks. He's killed like everybody. Unless he's on the ship. He's on the ship, I bet. Into the drink. Okay, okay, let's go. He's on the boat somewhere.
I'll drag you straight to the gallows!
I blocked that. I called bullshit on that. Okay. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Oh, great. Oh my god, he's such a little bitch. Yeah, get him! I think I'm probably gonna die here, but we'll restart probably with ammo, and I think I should have shot the exploding barrels. That's fine. I'm pretty sure those exploding barrels are there because video game reasons. We'll do it again. Fine, it's not a big deal. I feel like I should have parried that, all of it, but fine.
I'll drag you straight to the gallows! ¡No puedo seguirle! ¡Tengo línea de tiro!
There we go. Oh, fuck off. This sucks. They die again, too. He doesn't like, heavy attacks, I see. Did I get him? Ooh, I think I got him.
Well, it
Oh,
answers
fuck
just
yeah,
fine.
let's go.
Fils de putain! As bold as a musket ball, and still half as sharp.
I'm sorry about this, mate. But I can't risk you telling your Templar friends about me still kicking around.
I pity you, Boucanier. After all you have seen, after all we showed you of our order, still you embrace the life of an ignorant and aimless rogue.
What's this?
Is petty larceny the extent of your ambition? Have you no mind to comprehend the scope of ours?
Yeah, well,
All
you're
the
about to
empires
die.
on Earth abolished, a free and open world without parasites like you. Que l'enfer que tu trouveras soit le fruit de ton
How do you find me of
insouciance.
your own mate? Already happened, my friend. Already happened.
The cove is ours!
Hell yeah.
A despicable display. This Tusspat is a ruined man, Caroline. Unfit for life on land, much less at sea. If he goes to the West Indies, it's you who'll suffer.
Father! Father! Come, love. Up with you now.
That old muckworm! He's wrong about me!
I hope it's so.
You believe me, don't you? Can you not see me? Standing out there on the deck of a ship that's sliding into port. And there I am, a man of quality. With 1,000 doubloons spilling from my pockets. Like drops of rain. I can see it.
Well, we're doing it. We are doing it. March 17th.
Kid.
Wake up, Kenway.
What's that about?
He left this morning with the galleon. As faith, we'll discover a good use for this old cove ourselves.
I will make something of it in time. We could keep a fleet here if we liked. And with a bit of fixing up, it'd be a decent place to call home. Might even convince my wife to come one day.
You're married, are you?
In God's eyes, I am. She left me some time ago.
Even so, keep that fact hid away. Most of these pirates don't respect a man with higher commitments than rum and plunder.
Upon mine honor. Let me know if you find anything.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna cut it there. Probably do some Zelda tomorrow, maybe. And, yeah, fun time. Back tomorrow. Every day.